Hello. Good to see y'all. I'm back. Oh, I miss streaming. I miss the true crime, and I miss y'all. Hello. Happy Thursday. Thirsty Thursday. That calls for a Melly After Dark. But welcome. Hello. My name is Melly. We're going to be covering true crime today. My channel is all true crime. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. Do all the YouTube things. Make sure you like, subscribe. You already know. Hello. Let me say hi. Let me say hello. Good to see y'all. I know I haven't been as consistent. I promise I'll be back. I've just been really busy with life. But I hope you guys are doing well. I really do. Let's see. Hello, Britt. I saw Tipsy. Shout out to all my mods. Love all my mods and appreciate them. Hello, Pantera, Laura. Hello, Amanda. Let me see. Who else? Witch. Hi, Witch. Britt. Hello, Britt. I think I already said hi, Britt, but hello. And I saw Razon in here. Hello. We are going to be covering the case of Janiyah Russell. And I haven't been able to find a lot on this case. And there is a documentary out on her by One True Crime, which I will link it down below, and I have linked in my banner. He did a really amazing documentary. I love his channel. I will link everything down below. We're going to get into the Janiyah Russell case if you haven't heard about it. It's an older case, but it needs to be talked about. There's a lot going on, and I don't believe all people responsible for her death are behind bars. And so that's why we're going to cover it. Janiyah Russell, 5 years old. It is a trigger warning. It is one of those cases that involves children. And don't let that scare you. You know, it needs to be a case that needs to be talked about. So hang in there. It's really well done. I'm going to show you guys a picture of who Janiyah Harris is. We're going to read an article, and then I will play the body cam footage, thanks to One Crime channel. And we're going to comment as we watch it. So if you're not into that type of thing, sorry, but that's what we do here. So like I said, trigger warning, it involves abuse, unaliving of a child, all things that are brutal. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It is not a deep dive. There's not a lot. I haven't seen a lot of creators cover this, and I really am excited to cover it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Yay. Yeah, so I'm gonna cry. Yeah, you're gonna cry. But she needs real justice, and I'm curious what you guys think throughout the case. I'll give you like a little spiel on my end, and then we'll read the article so you get like the facts. But Janiyah Russell was 5 years old, and she was living in Colorado. I don't necessarily know the exact details of like the custody issues, but she ends up moving with her dad to Las Vegas. And her dad wasn't someone she had a relationship with. He had never cared for her. And her dad has a girlfriend by the name of Shavon Miller. And a horrible crime happens. She ends up losing her life. And once you see the body cam footage, you can make your own decision and your own opinions, because that's all it is here. This is just my opinion, my decisions on speaking of what I want to speak about on my channel, and it's my commentary. So none of this is legal advice. All of this is commentary, but the body cam footage is actual body cam footage, and that's actually real in the documents that we see in this documentary. So she loses her life at the hands of the people who are supposed to be caring for her. But only one of them is locked up. And I don't want to spill too much before we get into it, because it's just one of those that's really heartbreaking, and it's really interesting to watch this body cam footage. So Yes, I did see that, Britt. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it here, thanks to One Crime and Law and Crime. So I have them linked in my banner. I will have them linked in the description, and I will drop their channel link as well. You can watch the full documentary there. It's worth the watch, I promise. We're just gonna play the body cam footage here. Yes, it's so sad, Britt. I think he's guilty. Yes. I'm glad some of you know this. Let me know if you're familiar with this case in the chat. Yay, Pantera. Always making me smile. Thank you, Pantera. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the super chat. Very kind of you. I missed you too. I missed all of you. I know I haven't been as consistent. I promise to get back to it. Thank you so much, Pantera. Yeah, he's a piece of POS. Hello, Killa Swag. So good to see y'all. Here is Janiyah. I'm going to pull up a picture of her. Oh, my bad. This is her right here on the screen. So cute. I can't. She's so beautiful and so cute. And when you hear her talk and what they did to her is unreal. Like, I'm shook. I'm shook. Hello, Holly. I'm glad you made it. This is Janiyah on the screen. Thank you again. She is a little doll. Yeah, she is, Laura. Hello, Laura. I don't know if I said hi to everyone, but I'm trying to catch everyone. Hello. And thank you, Pantera, for the boo ball. Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on. She's so cute. And, you know, I don't know if I should tell you guys my opinion right now or like read the article and then I'll tell you guys what I really think, because I don't think that I do think the right person is behind bars. Don't get me wrong. I do think, but I also think that her father needs to be behind bars. And a lot of people think that. And Mr. Black, who created this documentary, clearly thinks that, you know, it took him a long time to create this documentary. So please make sure you guys go watch. Drop in the comments, say like, I watched this at Melly's if you haven't already watched it. I know he jumps around to see who's covering it because he wanted to bring more awareness to the case. So this is Janiyah on the screen. And I'm going to read an article. That's where we're going to start. You can get a little backstory there. And then, oh my bad, pulled up the wrong one. And then we'll watch the body cam and just get ready for it. Just be ready. Be ready. Okay, so let me pull up this article. This is, and if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm reading the screen. So don't be thinking anything crazy. Let's get started. So the case of Janiyah Russell. This happened in 2019. And I feel like a lot of stuff is being dug up. And I feel like if she wasn't the only player in this death of Janiyah, she will spill the beans, and she might if she sees that it gets a lot of media. You know, some cases are like that. They don't get a lot of awareness until a lot of people talk about it and get it out there. So I want to be one of those people to talk about this case. So let's get started. A 26-year-old woman was sentenced to at least 20 to 50 years in prison for her part in killing in 2019 of a 5-year-old girl. So she is Richard, which is Janiyah's dad, his girlfriend, Shavon Miller. And a jury convicted Shavon Miller of murder and child abuse charges for the death of her boyfriend's daughter, Janiyah Russell. Miller and her boyfriend, 27 years old, Richard Davis, were arrested after police said their story on what happened to Janiyah kept changing, according to the arrest report. The Clark County Coroner Office determined Janiyah died of blunt force injuries. During Miller's sentencing hearing, Chief Deputy District Attorney Michelle Jobe said that Janiyah was injured literally from head to the top of her knees, inside and out. We will have more details on that in a second. District Judge Tiara Jones sentenced Miller to between 20 and 50 years in prison for the first-degree murder and child abuse, neglect, and endangerment resulting in substantial bodily harm. Davis, who faces charges of unaliving and 6 counts of child abuse, which is her father, neglect, and endangerment resulting in substantial body harm, is scheduled to go to trial. That never happened. And there's very little available on this right now. And I don't know what the status of the father is with the court system, but he needs to be locked up, in Melly's opinion. The couple had called police on September 11th 2019, to report that Janiyah was cold and unresponsive. Davis said he wasn't home when Miller put Janiyah in the bathtub about 3 hours earlier that morning and went outside to smoke a cigarette. So Shavon claims that she didn't know what happened to Janiyah and that she did something in the bath that caused her to die. And like you just heard, that's not true. She was beaten, inside and out, brutally, for no reason at all, other than these people had issues, right? It's so sad. Miller told police she dressed Janiyah, laid her on the couch, and went back to bed for 2 hours after blowing in the child's mouth because she looked like she needed some air, and later turning up the heat because the child looked cold. Davis later told police he had spanked Janiyah with a belt about 20 times a few days before her death. So there's a lot of alleged rumors that she was being essayed. And we're going to watch a clip where she mentions her father, Janiyah does. And he was beating her with a belt. And those injuries were visible to the coroner and law enforcement. 20 times. Miller declined to give a statement to the judge during the hearing. Miller's defense attorney, Connor Slife, argued that Davis was more culpable for the girl's death. So the father claims that he wasn't there. He had nothing to do with it. But there's a lot of speculation going on about how he is still supporting Shavon while she's locked up in prison. And you would think if your girlfriend just brutally unalived your daughter, would you still be paying for her commissary? You know what I mean? There's a lot of red flags in this case. I still think he's a real monster in this case, not Miss Miller, said her defense attorney. Job argued on Thursday that Miller should face 31 years to life in prison for not seeking help for Janiyah before her death. Frankly, she has shown no remorse. She has shown no care for this child. She's shown no care for what happened to this child. I'm sorry, that was a prosecutor. After hearing Janiyah's maternal grandmother, Terzah Russell, said she was angry at the sentence. They could have gave her life. She took a life. And not only did she take a life, but she took a child's life. So I wanted to read that article. Hey, Eyes Never Lie, good to see you. Yeah, it's brutal. Wait till you watch the body cam footage. It's brutal. So with that being said, I'll give you guys a little rundown of the time frame. So September 11th at 7:45. Actually, there's a timeline in the video, so we'll just go based off of that. But basically, she claims that she thought Janiyah was alive when she was bathing her, but she was already dead. And she claims that she doesn't know what happened, and she claims that Janiyah was bullied by the kids in the neighborhood, and that's why she was beaten. But during her autopsy, they also found sperm, a very, very small amount of sperm inside of her and on her. And it was such a small percentage of with what the DNA system could do that they weren't able to get anything from that. Whose sperm would be on Janiyah and in her? Is that Shavon's? I'll let you guys decide and tell me after you watch this body cam. Hey, Kay Razy, good to see you. We're talking about Janiyah Harris tonight. I'm disgusted. And I agree with Mr. Black in his documentary when he says that all the people around her are culpable. And people have their feelings about the grandmother because the grandmother is in a clip where you see her mention that her dad is touching her. And I'm not here to blame anyone. We're here for justice for Janiyah, but you know me, I'm not going to ignore what's out there and the facts and how humans act. And I haven't made up my mind yet about what I think about the grandmother, but I do believe that, and I do want Janiyah to get full justice, and I do want Shavon to come clean if she had something to do with it. It is so tragic. I agree. Hey, Smog Dog, good to see you. Yeah, Dad. Right, Britt. Right. Britt's caught up on the case. Let's get started. So we're not going to watch the full documentary. Like I said, go and watch. I will link the channel. It's linked in the banner. He does amazing on this documentary. It's so good. And I love him. I love his content. So make sure you go support Let's get started. It's so tragic. Yes, thank you, Amanda. Here we go. Let me fix the screens. Get ready for this. Trigger warning.
On Wednesday, September 11th of 2019 at around 7:45 a.m., 911 received a call from someone alleging to be the babysitter of a child that was unresponsive at an apartment complex in Las Vegas called The Suites.
Fire medical. What's the address of the emergency?
So this is the 911 call, and then we'll move on to the body cam. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
4855, about the highway, the street.
What apartment number?
In 1161.
I'm sorry, 1161?
Yes, in, building in.
And is it Nancy?
Yes.
All right, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know, I gave my daughter, or my little girl I was babysitting, I gave her a bath, and she, I don't know what's going on at this point.
How old is she?
She's 5.
Is she awake?
No, she's unresponsive at the moment.
Okay, so is she awake and unresponsive, or is she unconscious?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, so are you where she's at right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, look at her. Is her eyes open? Is she passed out?
I'm not sure if she's passed out. Her eyes are kind of open.
Okay. Is she breathing?
I'm not really sure. I can't tell.
Okay. So these are questions. All right, we're getting help started, but these are questions that are very important for me to know. So what I need you to do is put your ear next to her mouth and see if you can feel or hear any breathing.
No, I cannot.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get her on her back on the floor. Do that right now.
Okay, she's on the floor, not on the back.
Okay, and she's still, yep, on her back on her back on the floor.
Okay.
All right, she's still.
Does this sound like someone who's trying to save a child right now, who's already been dead?
Unconscious, not breathing, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do, okay? You're going to place the heel of, and you said she was, did you come in there and find her like that, or were you in there with her when she did that?
On her bed, and I went in there to check on her, and now she's just unresponsive.
All right, this is what we're going to do, okay? So we're going to go ahead, and do you know if you have a defibrillator in the house?
No, I do not.
Okay. So you're going to place the heel of your hand in the center of her chest, okay, and just make sure there's no pillows or nothing underneath her neck, okay?
There's nothing.
All right, and just look at her mouth and make sure there's nothing in it. If it is, take it out.
Nothing in her mouth.
All right, so you're going to place your hand on her forehead, the other hand underneath her neck, and then you're going to tilt her head back, okay? And one more time, I just want you to put your ear next to her mouth one more time and see if you can feel or hear any breathing.
I don't feel or hear anything.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you how to do mouth to mouth, okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to pinch her nose closed and completely cover.
I did want to say this too. The other day, she ended up getting, I guess some girls were bullying her because she played outside and stuff like that. And I guess they ended up jumping on her.
Okay.
And I don't know if that could have possibly had anything to do with this, because she did get beat up pretty bad from the situation.
Did she go to the hospital in that?
So she's 5 at the time of her death, and she should be 10 now.
That happened?
No, she didn't, because, we thought it was kids stuff. So.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's start this, okay? They are coming, though. Is there somebody else there with you that can open the door for us?
Nobody's here.
All right. All right. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to pinch her nose closed and completely cover her mouth with your mouth. And you're going to blow 2 regular breaths into her lungs, okay? About 1 second each, just to make the chest rise with each breath, okay?
Okay.
All right. So did you feel or see the air go in and out, or did her chest rise at all?
Her chest rose, and then the air just blew out her mouth.
All right. And she's still unconscious and not breathing?
I'm assuming.
Okay. It's still the same as what it was when you checked just before you did that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to place the heel of her hand on her breastbone, right between her nipples. Okay. No, your hand. You're going to place the heel of your hand, okay, in the center of her chest. You're going to, and then only with the heel of your hand touching the chest, you're going to push down about 2 inches, and you're going to start pumping her chest hard and fast 30 times, at least twice per second. So I'm gonna count with you, okay? And then after the 30 times, we're going to do 2 breaths, okay? So let's start pumping, okay? We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's the 911 call. And I'm so pissed. Yeah, she was 5 years old. She claims she doesn't know what happened. She gave her a bath. Her body was limp. And she just doesn't know what happened. She thinks it had something to do with her being bullied by the neighborhood kids. And that's complete bull. And who acts that calm? I know a bunch of you, let me hit the comments because I know a bunch of you are saying stuff about how she's so calm. Let me just make sure I have the next clip ready for you guys. Usually 911 operators have to tell people to calm down. I can't understand you. Please stop crying. Right, Laura, I agree. You know, she's not doing any of that. She has no emotion because she's already disconnected and she's already been dead. When she got to the hospital, Janiyah was about 88 degrees. So she had been unalived for some while. My dad was a dispatcher. I grew up in communications control room. It's a hard job. I agree. In 15 years of emergency responses, never was a parent this calm. I agree, yes, Stubbs. I agree. So now the next footage that we're going to watch is of her in the hospital with the police. And this is Janiyah.
You know you're gonna leave Grammy and Nene.
This is right? The clip with her mother, her grandmother, which is she's getting a lot of flack for it. Janiyah mentions, if you listen closely, that her dad has been touching her, and he's the same one that beat her, right, with the belt 12 times, like a day before they killed her, allegedly.
You know that, right?
Yes.
You gonna have fun with your daddy?
Yeah.
That's good. You can call Grammy anytime, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna give your daddy my phone number because I love you.
I'm gonna talk to my mommy, and then I'm talking to my mommy when he's being mean to me.
Okay. That ought to be interesting.
And
okay.
then my dad would hit me because that's why mommy told me I can don't my dad touch me. And then he's still touching me.
Well, hopefully
at the house.
We won't be doing all of that, okay?
Okay.
And you just have a great time with your daddy, okay?
Okay.
Do you hear that? She said, I'm going to tell my mommy when daddy's being mean to me. And then she says, you know, when he's touching me. And then she says, yeah, I know. I know. What about grandma, though? Was that not like a huge red flag to her? I'm just saying. I know. You guys are shook. And how cute is she? Her little voice. She's adorable. Okay, so now we're going to watch the body cam footage at the hospital. And you can hear what Janiyah has to say allegedly happened to, Shavon has to say what happened. My apologies. Shavon has to say about what happened to Janiyah that night. And I don't believe any of it. She's covering for Richard, Janiyah's dad, in my opinion. And he needs to be held accountable for what role he did play in this crime. Her body would be in hypothermia. F grandma. Right. I'm with y'all. Wait till you watch the rest of it. It's infuriating, but that's what it needs to talk about. The media needs to get pressure on whoever in law enforcement and Shavon too to speak up, because why is Janiyah's dad still paying for her commissary? I don't know if that's true to this day, but it was happening for a while after this crime.
Okay, who are you? I need to stay right here, please. Okay. I know this is very difficult
Miranda,
right now. Okay. I just need to get some information from you really quick, okay? And I need to just get that, and then we'll go to the next step, okay? Who are you to the child? Nobody? Are you family?
No, I was dating her dad.
Okay, and what's your last name? First name? What is it?
S-H.
I do think she played a role, though. I think she's innocent. No, I think they both should be held accountable.
What's your date of birth? And your social? No? Okay. And a good phone number for you, please? Thank you. Is it Shavon? And then who's the father? What's his name? Who are you dating? Richard Avis?
Richard Davis.
Do you know his date of birth? And what's the child's name? Janiyah. Can you spell it, please?
Janiyah.
And her last name, Davis? Okay, do you know her date of birth?
August 26, 2014.
Thank you. Okay, you said she got jumped at school?
No, she's not in school. I don't know what really happened. It was just in our neighborhood. I sent her outside to play, and she came back
At the suites?
looking roughed up.
And when was
crying.
this?
It was like the day before yesterday or yesterday.
So Monday?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, so you went and let her outside to go play, and she came back all scruffed up?
It might have been yesterday, yes.
Yesterday? Okay. Did you call medical at any time or anything at that point?
I didn't because I thought, it was just some kid stuff. And
Roughhousing or something?
Yeah, it was no big deal.
Did it progress? Did she complain of anything in the
I
past?
just didn't send her back outside after that. And like I said, I was telling the nurse that when she was in the tub, she was like on her side. So she was kind of like sniffing and drinking the water. I don't really.
So she's trying to make it seem like she got beat up by the kids in the neighborhood, and that's why she was acting weird. And she was laying on her side in the bathtub and sniffing and drinking water. She's trying to set up a defense.
I don't know how to explain it much, but she was like,
This morning?
It was last night. She was in the bath or. Yeah.
Okay, and then what happened this morning?
And I went to go. She went to bed last night. Everything was fine. Went to go check on her. Like I said, she was up 4:00. I would say around that time.
This morning?
Looked at me. Maybe it was a little later, maybe 5. She looked at me, lay back down, didn't really say anything. Then I went to go check on her again, and she was just staring up.
What time did you look at her again?
Around 6, maybe 7. No, it must have been around 6.
And she wasn't responding to you?
No. I'm sorry, I'm trying to check the time.
And then that's when you called 911? You called at 7:45?
Yes, so I would say about 7 is when I checked on her. And then I laid back down because I thought she was just playing or just laying there.
Okay. And then that's when you called 911?
Yes.
Okay.
When I realized she wasn't playing.
Okay. All righty.
Why would a kid be playing dead for like hours and hours and hours?
Type for me, okay? We'll get some people to, would you like, I know you have somebody here, would you like somebody else to come help you through this process? Okay, just hang tight for me, okay?
Hi, young lady. You awake? Hi. Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Infuriated by this.
I didn't want to assume. I'm Officer Marshall of Las Vegas Metro. Hey, are you able to do a volunteer statement?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna bring you one. Okay. I know you already talked to Officer Crevettes, so I'm not gonna re-question you a bunch of stuff and all that. I'll get any information I need from him. Okay. And really, he's still in charge of whatever's going on over here. Okay.
Why is she acting like that? It bugs me.
What happened to your head? How did you get scratched up? What happened to your head? How did it get scratched up?
I'm not sure. I didn't even know.
Right, S-dubs.
No? Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Hello, number 7.
You from Cali?
No.
Is that 504? Oh, I thought that was Southern Cali. I'm going to close this out so you can have some peace.
There's no peace.
Well, you know
There's
what I mean.
no
So other
peace.
people aren't all up in your business, you know?
You watched your boyfriend hit her with a belt 20 times. No peace. What about Janiyah? Like,
This has to be a joke.
Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry it's not.
a joke.
I'm gonna explain this to you, okay? You can take your time, fill it out at your convenience if you want to fill it out, okay? Here, I'll give you this list to work on. So if you want to start here, can you see it or no? This is your name, okay? Just fill out all this information as correctly as you can, including a good address and a phone number for you. In the details, it's literally whatever you know happened, okay? From last night, I know there was some mention of some water getting swallowed and stuff like that. Probably important stuff to put in here, okay? When you're all done, I'll be right here with you, okay?
If I was that officer, I would probably lose my job. Thank you, Pantera. We appreciate your hard work and efforts and time for these cases, always presenting it with compassion and insight, your point of view. Thank you, Pantera. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why did he hit her with the belt? They're trying to say that she was misbehaving and acting inappropriately with other children. And my first thought is, well, why would she be showing those behaviors psychologically? Because she's experienced it, right? And do I believe it? Part of me thinks no. They just want to build a defense and make it seem like Janiyah had problems. Thank you, Pantera.
Any questions to anything so far?
Why did they keep trying
Keep trying what?
to save her?
Why didn't they keep trying to save her? What about you in your bonnet? Like, why didn't you try to save her? Why did you kill her, Shavon? And what are you covering for Richard for? Melly's opinion only.
She was just leaning.
Right, witch.
So where do we go from here?
Well, a couple detectives will come out. Obviously, they're going to have to do a little bit of an investigation, at least to determine
like
what
a child
happened
knows.
with the child. And they'll talk to you.
Disgusted.
And
If I go off camera,
your
it's
side of
probably
the story,
gonna
whatever
come out.
happened. That's why I say you don't have to fill this out because they're going to come in here and talk to you anyway. Okay. And then from there, whatever they decide will happen or whatever their investigation will lead them, we'll go from there. Yeah. That you should know, girlfriend or babysitter had some cuts on the back of her head. They look pretty fresh. Has no idea how they got there. Thank you. You could see it in between the braids. Yeah. But it looks pretty fresh.
Shortly after this body cam footage,
So, like I said, watch the whole documentary. I'm only playing the interrogation part of it. Yeah, she knows. She knows what's up here.
concludes, investigators arrive at the hospital and record voluntary statements from Shavon Miller. This is an edited down version of the first one.
Today's date is September 11th, 2019,
Listen to this.
and the time is 10:57
Get ready to be angry.
in the morning. This interview is taking place at Sunrise Hospital. Also present is Detective Hernandez, P number 7567, and investigator Rosalind Flores from the coroner's office. Are you from Vegas?
Mm.
Where are you originally from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana? Okay. How long have you been out here?
Since I was 13.
Okay. Did your family move from Louisiana, or did you come out here by yourself?
I moved with my auntie, and then I was in foster care.
Okay. All right. Now, it's my understanding that you live with a Mr. Richard Davis.
Yes.
Okay. That's your boyfriend? Okay. How long have y'all been dating?
5 years.
5 years? Okay. Do y'all have any children? No. And does he have any other children other than Janiyah? Did I say it right? Okay. How long have you guys lived over at 4855?
Like 4 or 5 months.
About 4 or 5 months. Okay. Do you work?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Have you worked prior?
Yes.
What kind of work did you do?
Call center. Surveys.
Okay. Was that here in town in Vegas?
Yes.
Okay. And you say you've been out here since you were 13?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How old are you now?
23.
23. Okay. So you've been here for 10 years. All right. Does Richard work?
He did.
He's not currently working?
Mm.
What kind of work did he do?
Walmart.
Walmart? Okay. When was he let go?
About 2 weeks.
So this is the girlfriend. The dad is Richard. Janiyah is a little girl.
About 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I guess my question is, how are you paying the bills if neither one of you are working?
Oh, well, since neither one of us is working, like, we have outside help and stuff like that.
Okay, so you got friends and family, maybe, or?
Yeah, we were supposed to be moving with somebody.
So you've pretty much been involved with Janiyah since she was born, since she was a baby, yeah?
No, he just got custody of her a year ago.
Okay. So the mom did they share custody prior to that?
No.
And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this case was because, again, like many other cases where CPS fails, why didn't CPS look into what was going on with her situation, right? And why did why did she get placed with her dad? Why did the mom lose custody? And why did no one fight to keep Janiyah? And did they look into the dad, like before he had custody, etc.? There's so many things.
So mom had full custody, and now he has full custody.
Pretty much.
Okay. Do you have any contact with the mom?
Not really. She calls, but when she calls, we just let her talk to Janiyah. She don't really talk to us as much.
Okay. All right then. Do you have any family here in town currently?
I do, but I don't associate with my family either.
Not with yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
and what about Richard? Does he have any family here?
We seem like everyone's family.
Okay. Does anyone else live with you guys over at 4855?
Mm-hmm.
In the household pets, dogs, cats, birds?
Just a cat.
Just a cat? Okay. Who takes care of Janiyah when you guys are working?
We switch out. Typically when he works, I work on his off days. So the days that he's off, I stay at home with her. And then the days that I'm off, he stays at home with her. And then we need somebody to, we just ask somebody to watch her if we need to.
Okay. And how is Janiyah? Is she a healthy little girl? Is she playful, active?
Yeah, all of that.
Any medical concerns with her?
None at all.
Did she go to school?
She was about to start.
She was about to start to go to, what's fine? So kindergarten?
She's smart. She was going to be in first grade.
Oh, okay. Was she already enrolled?
No, we were moving around. So we didn't, like I said, he just got her. So he didn't really have her social. And the little girl we were babysitting, we had to pick her up from school. And he was going to see if we could put her in her school.
All right. So
this couple, Shavon and Richard, were babysitting children before Janiyah and before he got custody of her. And Janiyah got moved from Colorado to Las Vegas to move with her dad.
well, let's what I'd
Had
like
never
to do
cared
is we
for
want
her
to talk
before.
about how we all ended up here today. Just be honest with me and tell me the story, all right?
Yesterday, she was outside playing.
We don't know
And
it.
she came back in the house crying because she had run into a scuffle. But last night, after dinner and stuff, she ended up getting in the bath. She was in the tub, and it's like she was like sniffing or drinking the water. And I had to correct her about it because she was like, I don't know if she was like, I don't really know how to explain how she was doing it, but she was like trying to breathe almost in the water. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. But so, like I said, I corrected her about that everything was fine, put her to bed.
I correct her. Pay attention to the words she uses because that's why Richard was involved and she's evil, pure evil. I don't know if they were on drugs. The dad's still out of walking free man. And I wouldn't be surprised. She's locked up in the Florence Women's Correctional
I checked on
Facility.
her. Like I said, she wakes up periodically, so a few times out the night she gets checked on. And by 4 o'clock, or I would say 4 o'clock, because it was right before her dad left, got up and checked on her. She was fine. She was up. He left. I laid back down, went to sleep, got up to check on her because, normally she's up at a certain time. And she was just staring. I don't really know. It's the look she had. I thought she was just laying there or just playing, but normally if she sees me, she'll pop her head up or something. So I just didn't pay any mind to it. So I went to go lay back down for like another 30 minutes until I realized she didn't get up to knock on the door. She didn't call for me or nothing. So I went to go check on her again and she was still looking the same. And so I was just like, okay, something's wrong. And at that point, I called her dad and then I called the hospital.
Okay, so you say yesterday, which is going to be Tuesday the 10th, you said she was outside and that she had gotten into a scuffle.
Or something up to where she came back just ruffled up, yes.
About what time do you think that was?
It was like later on in the day, older time of day, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe.
So about 4 or 5? Who was home at that time?
I believe it was just me home at the time.
So she say that she came into the apartment. Mm-hmm. How did she look?
Nevada.
Like her eyes, her face, she just looked like somebody had roughed her up. Her hair was pulled. Her clothes were messed up. Like she was all dirty and stuff. Like she was just outside playing or, getting roughed up or something. And by the time
Getting roughed up by the kids outside. And she didn't think to go talk to the neighbors, their parents, take her to the hospital. Because it wasn't the kids who beat her to death.
we went out there to go see what was going on. Everybody was gone. It was nothing or no one to be found.
All right. Well, so what did she tell you happened?
She was just like, they were being mean to her. And I kept saying, who was they? She was like, the kids. Like, she was just really upset.
So she didn't tell you the names of any of the kids? Or
she had just started going outside. So I don't think she would even know their names like that. Because, like, we don't send her outside like that. It shouldn't have been no kids on her, to be honest, but...
Has she got hurt like that before outside?
She don't go outside. So
this is the first time she's ever been outside?
It's not the first time she's been outside. That's just one of the first few times.
Okay.
And I didn't really think to, ask where were you at when, I figured I knew where she was at.
Did you?
She's a 5-year-old kid. You're not going to care where she's at. Maybe rugs were involved, S-dubs. Maybe.
Hear any fighting? Did you hear kids?
I always heard kids because we live right by the pool.
Did you hear her cry out or cry for help? Or
no?
You didn't hear her screaming or crying or anything like that?
She's a tougher kid. She's
tough? Okay.
She's tough.
So she comes in after the incident outside. Did you check her body out to see what was going on? Did you see if she was hurt?
She was.
And what did you see hurt?
Her face.
Can you... So what was on her? What did you see on her face?
She had a black eye, and then like the other side of her face was kind of messed up. It was some other things. I don't know. I think her mouth.
She had 2 black eyes, by the way, when we get to the autopsy.
Might have been messed up.
So what happens after you check her out?
I checked her out, made sure, like I said, I went to go see what was going on outside. Okay. Everything had died down at that point.
Did y'all have dinner that night?
Yeah, of course.
What was for dinner?
Well, we don't honestly have much in the house right now, so she just had tater sauce and a sandwich.
Did she eat what normal size portions?
Yes.
What time do you think dinner was?
She got to bed at 9, so I would say it was like maybe 8:30 or something.
Okay. So at 8:30, 9 o'clock, she seems fine. She had supper. Is Richard home at this time?
Yeah.
So he's got. What time did he arrive home?
Like right before she had to go to bed, so like 8.
Richard was home. There you go. He was there. They didn't report it until the next morning. Janiyah wasn't pronounced dead until 8:25 a.m. at the hospital.
8 something.
Okay.
It was like 8 something.
And where was he at?
Janiyah's father, Richard Davis, was gone during the time Shavon claims the little girl was in a scuffle with other children on September 10th. He was, in fact, at a Popeye's chicken restaurant eating food with another man. We can verify this with security footage from the establishment. During the video, while waiting for his food to be made, he can be seen being very annoyed about something. I have no clue and can't even begin to speculate about what made him so frustrated. Nevertheless, for the purpose of creating a timeline, let's quickly recap what Shavon says happened to Janiyah from Tuesday, September 10th when Richard was out eating until emergency personnel arrived the following morning. According to Shavon during her first interview with police, between 4 and 5 p.m. on Tuesday, September 10th, Janiyah is in an altercation with children outside the apartment complex she lives in. She comes home crying, upset, and beat up, sustaining a black eye, additional facial damage, possible mouth injuries, and pulled hair amongst other signs she's been roughed up by someone else. But when Shavon goes outside to investigate, she doesn't see anyone suspicious. A short while later, Richard returns home at 8 p.m., just before Janiyah eats a dinner between 8:30 and 9 p.m. consisting of tater tots and a sandwich.
Why doesn't she get Popeyes? Why did Richard just get Popeyes?
Shavon claims that Janiyah ate a normal portion of the meal before taking a bath and going to bed at around 9 p.m. in her normal spot on the couch in the front room. She follows up that she and Richard then went to bed at around 11 p.m. While in the
Oh my
bath
God,
Tuesday
yeah.
night following the altercation,
hear this.
Shavon claims Janiyah was trying to sniff, drink, or breathe the water in the tub. She states that she had to correct Janiyah about it, but offers no further explanation during this interview. She goes on to claim that everything was fine when she put Janiyah to bed. She then says she checked on the child at around 4 a.m. and the child was fine and up. This was just before Richard left to go donate plasma in town. For those of you who don't know, plasma is the liquid part of your blood. You can donate it regularly for cash. Richard then leaves the apartment at around 5 a.m. and can be spotted on a bus heading into town. Soon after, Shavon gets up to check on Janiyah again, and this time she does so by pulling back the little girl's covers. She claims Janiyah was staring back, open-eyed and blank. There was no interaction exchanged between the two. Shavon lays back down for 30 minutes before realizing something is off, as Janiyah, uncharacteristically, was not yet awakened up. After checking on the little girl for a third time and realizing that Janiyah was indeed unresponsive, she decides to call Richard at the Telecris Plasma Donation Center because he left his phone at home. After 6 minutes of talking with Richard on the Telecris phone line, the call ends and Shavon contacts emergency services just before 8 a.m. Now that we've got the timeline down, I'd like to remind you not to get comfortable. Shavon provided 3 interviews to police, and her story does a fair bit of changing. Her third interview is a full-on video interrogation. If you really want to help piece together what happened to Janiyah Russell, stick around. The family could use your help.
We do want to stick around, and we are going to help the family, and we are doing it here on my channel together as we talk about this case and the blatant lies just from this interview. And the timeline matches perfectly with the dad being home and then, oh, all of a sudden he's gone and she's dead after you just beat her with the belt 20 times. You hit her with the belt.
It's also worth noting that while the couple don't have any other kids themselves, they regularly babysit for other parents. Specifically, during this time, 2 little girls aged 5 and 1 that belonged to an ex-coworker of Richard's named Liz. The last day they babysat these children was Monday, September 9th from 2 to 11 p.m. Their mother, Liz, had worked with Richard in Walmart before being let go. He, Shavon, and Janiyah were all about to move in with Liz, with the plan being to babysit her kids full-time as a means to pay rent. Of course, this would never happen because the day Richard planned to move was the day Janiyah died. And these aren't the only kids that Richard and Shavon looked after. And we'll get to that in a minute, as that information comes with a bombshell.
So you check on her at 7:30, 7:45. How did she look then?
And I say that at that point,
Are you guys like angry? Because I'm a little angry. I find myself angry as I've already watched this numerous
I figured
times.
something was wrong. She was looking the same, not moving. And then I realized her hands were really cold. So I turned
Wait till you hear the injuries.
Maybe she's
Oh my
just
God.
really cold.
What, did you check her breathing?
Yeah,
Was she breathing?
I don't think so. I couldn't really tell for sure.
And you say you called Richard first? What did you tell him?
I just told him he needs to hurry up and get over because I don't know what's going on. And she's not breathing. And he's like, well, you need to hurry up and go to the hospital. Like, okay. I just wanted to.
Okay, so then I'm guessing.
Why would you call him, who's at Popeyes eating them chicken wings or whatever, the next morning? Who knows what he's doing? I don't really care. But like, why would you take her to the hospital? And yeah, as Dubs said in the chat, 3 times to be unresponsive. She noticed her. And then she's limp in the bath.
Some paramedics arrive and they grab Janiyah up and take off. So part of what we do is we examine Janiyah's body. She's got a lot of injuries. She has a lot of injuries. And early, when we first started our conversation, I asked you to make sure that you're honest with me and you tell me the truth with what happened. And that's important. I've been doing this for quite a while. And I can tell you that the extent of injuries that she has on her body is not from a scuffle.
I don't know about the extent of injuries on her body.
Well, I can tell you that I've seen her body, and I'm telling you, this didn't come from a scuffle out in front of her apartment. Her injuries are extensive.
Yeah, the only thing that I knew of that was new to me was the spot on her stomach. I don't know where that came from at all. I mean, and yet anything else I told you about, that's what I saw. And I did mention it.
So this all happened.
Listen to how she talks. And when you hear the injuries in a second and her reaction here, a demon.
Yesterday. You got to tell me how she got hurt like that.
I'm telling you how she got hurt like that.
She didn't get hurt like that.
Well,
I need you to tell me the truth.
I'm telling you.
That child's injuries did not come from a scuffle out in front of your apartment complex.
Can you tell me what the injuries
I'm telling you.
I'm not trying to be funny at
Can
all.
you tell me what the injuries are?
Because
she asked, can you tell me what the injuries are? Because she wants to plot lies in her brain.
The only thing I knew about was her face. And then, like I said,
she has bruises all over her abdomen, all over her arms, all over her legs, all over her face, all over her head, all over her neck. She looks like she's been in a fight with an MMA fighter. She didn't get this from a scuffle out in front of your apartment. I'm telling you 100%, no doubt in my mind. I don't doubt that she was beat, but this didn't happen out in front of the apartment complex from some kids.
Wow.
And when she was in the bath.
Wow.
The most she did was like.
Describe that for me. I was just kind of wondering what that was. What do you mean she was sniffing the water?
Like I said, like I said, after, that or whatever, she was laying down in the tub and she was like kind of on her side. So like, I thought she was like, just laying in the water and then like maybe blowing the water out her mouth, like out of her mouth area so she can breathe or whatever. But I realized that she was kind of like, it kind of seemed like she was like trying to drink the water or something. Like, I don't really know how to explain what she was doing, because once I seen her doing it, I was just like, okay, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's dangerous,
What'd she say?
She don't talk back. She's just gonna get up and not.
She don't talk back.
Yeah, she's just gonna stop doing it.
Did you have to get her out of the water or anything like that?
No, but the water was kind of like high to her body. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, if she's laying flat, you see how little she is, and it was like halfway covering up her. So that's why I was like, okay, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
She's trying to make it seem like she drowned after she's been beat from her face down to her kneecaps. A 5-year-old little girl.
And like,
when you got out of the water, how long was she in the bathtub?
I don't know, because like I said, she ended up staying in there a little while longer because I let her wash herself off. And then she likes to be in the tub. So, she soaked herself up and stuff like that.
Did you wash her like vaginal area and anything like that? Was she especially dirty or anything like that?
What?
Her private parts, her vaginal area.
Did you say was she especially dirty?
Yeah, was she dirty? Because you said she got in a scuffle.
She had on clothes.
But did you have to wash her any like harder than normal? I'm just like other than normal stuff.
No, not at all.
Okay. You said
they're asking her that for a reason, because they obviously found wounds that reflect that.
to correct her.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Told her to not do.
That's
yeah. She's just eating a little chocolate chip muffin at Starbucks.
I'm really still stuck on the fact of what you said. I really am.
When she came in, because you said that Richard wasn't there, and she told you that she'd gotten into a scuffle out in front of the building. Did you call him or send him a text? Hey, she got into a fight?
I would say he don't really have a phone. The phone he do have is on Wi-Fi, so typically he's not really going to take that phone because I'm the one that has Janiyah.
Mm-hmm.
So in case of an emergency, I need to call somebody, which we don't really have emergencies, and we don't ever really need to call nobody, ever.
Okay. As far as discipline, because she is 5, and all of us here have children. We know how 5-year-olds are.
She gets whoopings.
Does she get a whooping? Okay. Explain to me how she gets a whooping.
We know that Richard hit her with the belt 20 times like a day before.
It just depends on what she did. She was a very different type of kid. So like I said, it just depended on what her actions were. Like sometimes she'll be in the corner, workout, that type of stuff.
What do you mean workout?
Wall sits, because I don't really like whoopings.
Okay.
She says, I don't like whooping, but I'm going to kill her, but I make her work out. She punishes Janiyah by making her do wall sits. 5-year-old girl. Does that sound familiar to a lot of the true crime cases that we've covered here?
Oh, I make her work out.
Treadmill case.
Give me an idea of an exercise program you put her on for discipline.
Like say if she's been lying, she can do wall sits, and then she can do some push-ups.
Okay, so she'll put her back up against the wall with her legs bent, and then she holds her hands up?
Yes.
And how long will you make her do that for?
I would say it's just the case. So I'd say for lying and stuff like that, or trying to be in wrong folks' business, it just depends. Like she'll do sets, like you know what I'm saying? So say she'll do count to 10, stand up, and then go down, count to 10, stand up. It's like that. It's not like...
It's like that? Shavon, can you do that? I'm just curious.
No extreme workout challenge is really simple stuff.
Ruby Frankie, good one, yeah.
10. Everything is counted 10.
Okay.
A little bit.
When she gets a whooping,
Right, which.
do you use your hand or you use an object, a belt?
I don't really give out the whippings. I leave that to her dad. But if he's not really like there and it's just like, okay, she's being too bad and my form of punishment is not working, then it might be a belt. But yeah, that's about it.
Was she disciplined yesterday?
About it?
No, for what?
I'm asking. I know. Was she disciplined for anything?
No.
What about the day before?
No, we were released the day before. So if she was looking like that, somebody would have seen her like that.
No, I'm saying just as far as discipline. I'm not saying that she looked like that 2 days ago. I'm asking if she was disciplined 2 days ago for anything for being bad.
No. Say for example, if anything like yesterday, she don't really like to learn. So when she was pretending not to know a word that she was sounding out, she's really smart. It can take her a minute to do it. But sometimes it can take her longer because she doesn't want to learn.
She doesn't want to learn.
So for that, she had to stand in court. But that's the most she had to do yesterday was stand in court.
So she stood in the corner yesterday?
Yeah.
Do you remember what time that was? When were you doing studies?
Around 12.
Why did she get put in the corner yesterday again?
Because basically she didn't want to. She knew what a word was, and she was pretending like she didn't know what it was.
A what word?
A word that we were working on. She was pretending like she didn't know what it was.
She was pretending like she didn't know what a word was, and so she got beat. Janiyah.
So she ended up getting in trouble.
What was the word?
Fat.
Fat? It's an easy one. Yeah. Is she receptive to discipline? You know, does she...
She can be, but, you know, we just work with it.
Okay. Does it frustrate you?
Right, Pantera.
She's fine.
It's typical 5-year-old behavior, yeah? Okay. All right. So she gets... So occasionally she'll get a whooping with a hand or a belt. She also does, what do you call them? Wall sits? Wall sits and push-ups? Sit-ups, anything like that?
No, squats.
Squats?
Wow.
Okay, is that against the wall or freestanding?
Oh my God.
You don't know
I know what a squat is, yeah.
Yes, freestanding.
Okay.
My heart.
All right.
Can I ask you really quick too? I know we had touched on it, but you had said she had complaints last night.
Mm-hmm.
What were her complaints? Was she complaining with headache? Was she complaining like she wanted to throw up?
Yeah, no, she didn't ever say she wanted to throw up, but you know, you asked like, oh, does her hair and stuff like that, right? Yeah, she did say, yeah, it hurts a little. And she didn't really, like I said, she's kind of tough, so she doesn't really complain too much.
So she's tough, so you beat her to death?
So if something was really bothering her like that, I don't think I would have known because, like I said, she's tough, so she would have probably just tried to sleep it off.
I was just asking because I thought you had said she did have complaints last night. Did I hear that wrong?
No, you had heard it right. Yeah, okay. She did.
So then I just want to be clear that her complaints were that you asked her for head hurt and she said yes.
No, her everything, like, you know, just because of the fact that what happened, and that's part of the reason why she ended up getting the bag because, you know.
Did you tell Richard about the scuffle up front?
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
He was concerned. He asked what I did, and then you know
what I
it
did.
Was just like he's the type of parent. He's a guy, so he just feels like it'll make her tougher. He was concerned, but you know he don't really show his emotions like I do.
Did you call the police?
No.
Did you call security?
No.
Did you go knock on any doors?
No, because she was just supposed to be playing outside.
I'm shook.
So your little girl comes in, black eye, bloody lip.
I went to go see what was going on, but like I said, by the time I had got out there, it seemed like everything just, even the pool is open.
I mean, you didn't knock on no doors? You didn't say, hey, did anybody see anything? You didn't see my kid get beat up? You didn't ask nobody?
I didn't think about
nobody.
And yeah, she was spitting out blood when she came back too, like her mouth. That's what I was saying, like her mouth was like it wasn't like really like leaking, but I seen it was like red.
Did she wipe it up with anything?
I cleaned it.
With what?
So she was bleeding from her mouth. Who, like this person? What is that? Like, who is that? What is that?
Tissue. Just toss it in the trash. I mean, in the toilet.
Literal demon.
Flush it down, don't
you?
Yeah. Okay. And let me ask you this: is there any domestic violence issues in the home?
Me too, Pantera.
Everything was coupled with Richard.
I mean, everybody argues.
2 minutes.
Everybody argues. I mean, you ever put his hands on it?
No.
We have to ask. Drugs or alcohol use in the house?
I mean, we smoke.
Smoke what?
Weed.
It's legal now. I mean, we don't care.
That doesn't make
Anything
you
else?
beat a
No.
child
I
to
mean, we're not
death.
here for that. We're not drug people. We're not, is there any meth or any
No.
cocaine we're gonna find in the house or nothing crazy like that? Okay. And we just have to ask.
None of that.
Has anybody other than you or
Probably
Richard
drag her kids
watched
back home.
Janiyah this week?
No.
How would you describe these whippings that she would get? Ever pretty forceful? You should cry.
Although you kids cry, I freaking yelled at. I had to sit the baby in the corner because she kept fighting her sister.
Okay, but can you describe the lump saying that's like you said it was with a belt? I mean, pretty forceful, pretty hard.
We don't do weapons with the belt all the time. That's how we do workouts and stuff. But if she do have to get a belt, it's on her butt.
Okay.
First off.
When's the last time she got a whipping with a belt? I don't know.
First off,
You don't know? No. Do you think it was within the last 24 hours?
No, or not. She shouldn't have. No. Like I said, she was standing in the corner. That's the most trouble she could have possibly been into.
At any point was she with her dad by herself? Was how you there?
Not for none of this, I don't think.
And when she moved, or when dad got full custody, was she with mom before that?
Foster care.
Foster.
She was with her mom, but she went to foster care. She got her back foster.
Foster care here or where?
In Colorado.
And if I seem like, I know agitated is the right word.
it breaks my heart that we cover so many cases here that are involved with the foster system and the CPS system, and then we see this. Just murdered brutally by the own people that gave him life.
Or I see injuries like this.
Not
on
this
show.
girl, but her dad. And that's
because
her
you don't have a
biological
better
father.
explanation other than she was outside and got into a scuffle. That's not good enough. That's not.
I understand that.
I'm sorry. It isn't.
Okay.
When a child has that, when her body is bruised from head to toe like that,
I promise you, I'm really trying to figure out.
you're telling me that you didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. And when Richard sees stuff like that, what makes her tougher? Both of her eyes are black. She has 2 black eyes. She has bruising all over her stomach, her arms, her legs. She looks like she fell out of an airplane. And you're telling me, oh, it was a scuffle outside. And then you didn't call the police. You didn't tell security. You didn't do anything.
Her injuries are so bad, it looks like she fell out of an airplane. Wait till you hear more.
I'm assuming you've been with this girl for 5 years
You're gonna
or
want to
for
throw
a
your
year.
phone,
I'm
laptop
assuming you love this little girl.
out the damn window.
You take care of her.
She called you mommy, right?
She calls you mommy, and she comes in beat up, and you know, oh, well,
I'm understanding.
no big deal.
No, it's not no big deal. When she told me I'm ready to go fight, I'm not ready to call the police. I'm not ready to call security. I'm ready to go whip somebody else because you did my child up.
Then why?
That's the type of person I am. I told you when I went out there, it's like everybody had disappeared. Nobody was outside playing no more. The whole situation just completely died down. What am I supposed to really go do?
You didn't knock on no neighbor's door. Say, hey, have you seen any?
She's like, I'll whoop someone ass. Is she out? Someone hurting my child? What? You killed her. You had something to do with it.
Somebody put their hands on my kid?
You're the one taking the blame for it.
I was just ready to whip some ass right then and there. And when I'm in that mode, that's all I'm thinking about. And especially when it comes to her.
You got a little bit of a temper.
No.
No?
When it comes to the right reasons.
Okay.
And somebody putting their hands on her is the right reason.
So if my kid,
and I didn't know she was, her arms, her legs, her head.
Yes.
No, like I said, the most I knew about was her face. But the fact that you're saying is all that, I'm really confused. I'm genuinely confused right now.
Me too.
I didn't know it was that serious.
That's why I want a better explanation.
Can you give me one?
Can you give me an explanation? Oh my God, I'm done. Okay, here's the thing though. Let's play devil's advocate. Did Shavon beat her along with Richard? Was it just Shavon who's taking the blame for it? And or maybe she had no idea, and that's why she's so confused here because she didn't know. What do you think? Was it Richard? Shavon didn't know. Did they both do it? She covering for him? I mean,
I wasn't there. You were there.
I wasn't outside with her.
You're saying that all those injuries happened to her from a scuffle outside your apartment. That's what you're.
That's the only way I know if it's coming from. I'm being so thorough right now.
Okay. All right, that's what we're going to go with.
Beat her.
Any follow-up?
Nope, that's it.
Operator, this is Detective Conover. That concludes the interview. The time is 11:52.
Roughly an hour and a half after Shavon's first interview, while still at Sunrise Hospital, she requests to speak to authorities for a second time. This is where her testimony starts to change drastically. For the record, there's no doubt that Shavon Miller is lying about what happened to Janiyah. This is irrefutable. The question, though, is for what purpose is she being deceptive? You'll want to watch this whole documentary before you make up your mind. It's crucial that you're aware of all of the available details first.
It is September 11th, 2019. The time is 13:26 hours. We are at Sunrise Hospital. And also, again, we'll be speaking with Shavon Miller. And Shavon, you said that you had some more information that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that when I called 911 initially and they told me how to do the CPR, water was coming out of her mouth and nose. So I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but her mouth and nose had water coming out of it as I was doing the CPR.
No, it had nothing to do with it because you're lying.
Water?
Yes.
Okay. And you were getting instructions on the phone about how to do CPR?
As I was on the phone doing the CPR. This is why I'm really I completely forgot about that. It was as I'm pumping, it's water coming out of her mouth, just flowing out of her mouth and her nose on the floor, right in front of the couch.
Did anything else come up with the water?
It was like mucus. And matter of fact, I think she had some spit like hanging out her. I don't know how I'm forgetting everything that I needed to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, she had like one out. That's what made me even acknowledge it too. She had like spit hanging out her mouth and stuff when I went to go check on her again. And then, like I said, once I called and did the CPR, it was water coming out of her mouth and nose. It was water coming out. And the only thing I could think of, she just kept saying, just checking to see if she's breathing. And that's the only thing I was worried about. I didn't even say, oh, it's water coming out while I was on the phone. I was just trying to check and see if she was breathing. I don't know if that had something to do with the fact that she was drinking the water in the tub or whatever it was that she was doing in the tub. So it's like, I really don't know.
When did she get it back?
Like
in the tub?
Last night.
What's happened?
Probably right before dinner, so like 7.
Was Richard there?
I'm not sure.
Why is she covering for this man? And or like, I know she had, obviously she was involved, Shavon, but this is just, it's horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible.
I feel like when around the time when it was time for her to go to bed and stuff, I feel like he came like right after she went to bed. I'm not really like I said, I completely forgot to tell y'all that the water was coming out of her nose and mouth, which is a very important detail. So it's just like I can't even remember if he was there or not. Like I'm kind of traumatized, if you would choose to say. Like,
did she dress herself after a bath, or did you dress her?
I typically dress her.
And I know I asked you this before. When you got her dressed after the bath, you didn't notice any of these other bruises that we've been talking about. Because remember, I said her body's covered.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would have noticed it getting her up the tub. I really did not notice it.
She was bruised, lacerations, mouth, ears, arms, stomach, genital areas, 2 black eyes, and her organs. Wait till you hear that part.
I genuinely, I'm telling you, like even with her head, like the fact that you're saying her head is, whatever you're saying is going on with her head, I'm really like surprised. The only thing that I know of that she could have possibly done, but my nieces haven't even been around, they headbutt each other a lot. But my niece haven't even been around her. Right. So it's just like, I'm not understanding at all where she would be getting these head injuries from.
Okay. Obviously, we're going to find out what more injuries we're going to have tomorrow after the exam.
More?
What other injury? We don't know. I don't know what's inside. I don't know what's going on. So that's up to a doctor to tell us what.
She have internal injuries?
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. So we're going to have the doctor examine. If there are other injuries, we're going to know. We're going to find out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Is there anything else we're forgetting to ask you? Anything else that would have happened that might have caused these things?
No, but now, like I said, I'm kind of upset that I didn't tell you guys about that water from the beginning, because that's the only thing that I could really think about at this point is that water. Okay. And it was coming out of her when I was doing CPR.
And when he leaves?
Like I said, when he left, I went right back to sleep.
Okay.
So
did you see her at that time?
No, I didn't get up until a few hours later.
No, you were awake, but you didn't get up out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was up, but I didn't get up.
Did you see your stage?
Yeah, because I was, matter of fact, I'm lying. I did get up. I had to lock the door.
Oh, you locked the door behind you?
Yes, I did. I forgot because I just heard it was a serial killer on the loose. How ironic is that? So
she says that she got up and locked the door because there's a serial killer on the loose. She's the one on the loose.
Ended up, I'm like, babe, I'm just going to lock this door because it's crazy out here. But I didn't really acknowledge her. I just went back to the room. That's why I'm not remembering that, I did get up at that point in time, but I didn't check on her until I woke up later on.
Okay.
And then, I realized she was different than normal. And then I just still brushed it off because, like I said, the way she was looking,
different
I really
than
thought
normal?
she was possibly just laying there. And then I realized, like I said, she's not getting up. Okay, let me go check on her again, make sure everything all right. And then I realized, okay, something's wrong. Like I said, that's when she had to spit on her pillow. And then that's what I'm saying. I don't know why I'm missing the stuff that matters. And then that's when I realized, okay, she's a little cold. Let me turn the heater on. Then I called her dad, like, okay, something's not right. And then I called 911, which I probably should have called 911 first and then her dad. But
oh, yeah, no shit.
I just wanted him to know, okay, you're going to have to go to the hospital because once I get on the phone with the ambulance, I'm not going to be able to call you. And that's pretty much how it was.
A few days ago, Richard told us about an incident that happened a few days ago.
What happened a few days ago?
With, you have a girlfriend named Janiyah?
Uh-huh.
And was she over there visiting you guys at your place with her kids?
Yeah.
Do you remember something happening that day?
That might have been the day me and her left. So I'm not, I don't know. We be kind of busy sometimes too. So it's just like, my sister hasn't really been over there.
Girl, you know what?
It probably was the other day, but I don't really remember exactly what day it was because it was right before we got the little girls. So it was the other day, but I don't remember,
Is Janiyah your sister? Or
No.
she's a friend?
She's my friend, but
What's her last name?
Johnson. What did he say happened with her?
Well, I don't want to tell you what he said. I want to see if you were. So I want to see if you were there. If you remember an incident that happened.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I was there because I know it's always something like that.
Did he tell you about an incident?
I'm not sure. That's what I can't guarantee because I know for a fact she ended up headbutting with my niece. I don't know for sure exactly, what it could possibly be that he's talking about.
Did he tell you that something happened?
It's always something happening.
It's something that you would go, oh, okay. When I say something happened, I mean it's something that's serious that you would go, oh, okay, that's what happened.
Or she would have gotten a whooping.
Oh, where she got a whooping?
Mm-hmm.
Was it she was kissing the girls on the mouth or something?
Nope.
Oh, then I don't know. I don't know for sure.
She's saying Janiyah was kissing some girls on the mouth.
So were you there when that happened? Did you see that?
When she was kissing the girls on the mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Did I see that happen? I was there that day. I don't think he was there. That's what I'm saying. I don't know because it's always something going on. We always have kids at the house. This is not nothing new for us to have kids around, My nieces are always over. We are babysitting. We were supposed to babysit today.
Anyone who watches my video, hopefully, and you had your kids babysat by her, please call the police.
So it's not really anything new that we're always having kids around, especially little girls. So it's
Did he tell you that he had to spank her with a belt?
He don't run his stuff by me. Not really. He don't run his.
So you don't have. That's just not something that come in conversation. Hey, by the way, I had to spank her today for blah blah blah.
If I had to whoop her, I'm gonna run that by him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had to whoop his daughter, he doesn't have to run that by me. I just told you what she got into, with the most recent thing that she did. So it's just I don't know what that could have possibly been. And it's been a few days since my nieces have been over or my sister's been over. So I don't really recall too much.
Okay. This case is going to be solved medically. Not me. I'm not a doctor. I don't do that. But when I'm at the autopsy tomorrow, I'm going to know everything that's wrong with Janiyah.
No, yeah.
I know everything.
That. And that's what I'm saying. The only thing I can think of at this point that could have possibly happened was that water. And I said, when I was pumping her,
the only two people that have had contact with that baby
is me and her.
Is you and him.
Right.
So somebody ain't telling me the story.
No.
Somebody's not telling me the truth. Babies don't get full of water all on themselves.
I told you what she was doing.
So not from that. Well, that was at 7, 8 o'clock. This is 10 hours later. She's not still full of water. It's not. It didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she was drinking it. I feel like she was breathing it in.
I know, but then she would have expired while she was taking a bath. She can't be full of water 10 hours later while you're giving her CPR. That's impossible.
Right.
I'm gonna know more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I want you to be prepared for me tomorrow.
Okay. I didn't do anything to her. I'm telling you, I put her in the tub and she was laying there. She was laying in the tub. It wasn't like for one, I give her baths too much for me to possibly have done something like putting her under the water or something like that.
Did she accidentally drown in the water last night? And
I'm not sure because at a certain point in time, I did walk off.
Well, what I'm saying, last night before bed, and she's in the bathtub, did she drown while she was in the bathtub? And you're scared to tell us that she drowned, and that's how this other story came up with checking on her throughout the night, and then you finally call for paramedics in the morning. Obviously you know that you have to call somebody and report that your child has passed away. So with the water coming up out of her, honestly, it makes me believe that maybe she had drowned.
I would not have waited that long.
But you did.
Because I would have felt like there was possibly a chance that somebody could have saved her. Now, if anything, maybe my time frames are wrong, but other than that, I'm
a lot more than your time frame.
That's what that was. Like I said, maybe my time is off, and maybe the night was a little later. But other than that, no.
It's like the night was a little later. I was a little high.
I'm literally telling you that's what happened. I didn't.
So when she was done with her bath,
allegedly,
she was fine. She got dressed. She went. You put her to bed, gave her a kiss on the cheek goodnight, and you and Richard went to bed. But she got out of the bathtub. You dressed her.
Mm-hmm.
She went and laid down on the couch, went to bed.
Yes.
Okay. She didn't drown in the bathtub. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Or not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Well, I mean, you would know. You were there.
Amanda, me too.
You know the difference between drowning in a bathtub and not drowning in a bathtub, right?
I mean, I guess so, but I don't think...
If a child drowns in the bathtub, they're dead. They're dead in the bathtub.
Well, I think I would have had more knowledge of why the water was coming out of her like that.
Did you find her dead in the bathtub earlier?
No.
You can tell me. That would explain a lot. That makes more sense now. If you're telling me that she had water coming out of her while you were giving her CPR, that makes sense. This is the time to tell me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There was water coming out of her. I wouldn't wait hours to call for help.
Like, yeah, did.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what happened to this little girl.
I am.
You can do it. You're strong enough. You are. I believe in you. But you got to tell me the truth. You got to tell me what happened to her. She deserves that.
I told you she was laying there. She was laying in the tub, first of all. Why? Just saying, would that even be believable if I pumped the water out of her already? You can't see water in her lungs if it's already pumped out of her.
During the autopsy, if she drowned, there will be medical signs that will tell us that she drowned. We'll be able to know that tomorrow.
It was water coming out of her.
I believe you.
Can we discuss this tomorrow? Please.
Discuss this tomorrow?
You should tell us now. It's best if you tell me now what happened. I want to know what happened to this little girl.
I'm not trying to go to jail for something I didn't do. That nobody did.
Tell us what happened. Tell us when you found her.
What?
When did she drown?
I don't know for sure if she drowned or not. I thought she was just laying there. I don't want to go to jail for something I didn't do.
There was 2 people in that apartment.
Her dad was not there.
She doesn't want to go to jail for something she didn't do. We'll spill the beans on what Richard did.
He didn't do that. Nobody purposely harmed her like that.
Then tell me how it was an accident.
Okay, I really can't.
That little girl deserves the truth.
I do completely understand that, and I'm giving you the truth. I really am. But I just don't.
You were a mother to her. She thought of you as her mama. She called you mama.
I know all that. That's not really going to help. I want to know that I'm not going to go to jail for something that wasn't done purposefully or something that I didn't do, something that he didn't do. Neither one of us sat there and hurt her like that on purpose or ever tried to.
But Shavon, you won't tell me what happened.
I just want to know I'm not going to go to jail for something that...
Explain what happened to me. Tell me how it was an accident. You're strong enough. You can do this. You love that little girl. I know you do. Tell me the story so it'll make sense.
No, they don't. Yeah, please. Well, they do, Laura, but not the dad.
Like I said, she got into the scuffle. And I ended up putting her in the tub. I don't know exactly what time. The water was just running, and I wasn't paying attention.
And what time was this?
I don't know what time it was.
Was it, you think it was nighttime?
It was nighttime.
Was Richard there?
No.
Why does she hesitate?
How long was she in the
Richard?
bathtub for?
She
Why is
wasn't
she so
in there
scared?
that long.
Did you start the water for her, or did she start her own water?
I turned the water on.
Okay.
I filled it up, and then I walked off.
Did you turn the water off?
I didn't turn it off yet.
Did she turn it off?
No.
When you went back into the bathroom, was the water running?
I ended up turning it off.
Okay.
Then I
Her
walked
story
off,
makes
and
no
I came
sense.
back, and like I said, she was laying in the tub. I got her out,
Right, tipsy.
and I tried my best.
When she was in the tub, was she face down or was she face up?
I don't know, because like I said, she was laying in the tub at 1st and she was laying there like, you know, on her back and stuff, just waiting on the water to fill up. I don't know what happened after that. I just grabbed her out the tub, and that's why I think that mark came from on her stomach from me trying to get her out the tub, and she was like laying over the tub, because like I said, that mark and stuff on her stomach was not there. I don't know.
This is what I think. They beat her to death and then they try to make it look like she was drowning. So they probably did put her in the water, but was her hair wet? How was the autopsy?
Where that came from. I don't know even know if that sounds realistic or not, but that wasn't on her. Nobody, like, even when you're saying like the bruises, nobody don't beat on her like that.
Okay. So
You can ask my sister. She was living with us for a couple months. I don't even whoop Janiyah.
So when you pulled her out of the tub, was she breathing?
I thought she was. Yeah,
Pantera.
I really did. That's why I just lay her down and go to bed. She's
sick. She's bleeding from her mouth. She's snorting water. And you just lay her down in bed. Notice how all she cared about saying even after all this is how she doesn't want to go to jail for something she supposedly didn't do. Facts. She doesn't want to get caught. Or why doesn't she want to throw Richard under the bus?
she was able to get dressed and stuff like I don't know. I don't know if I'm like,
She got up and she got dressed.
no, I'm saying like I got her dressed, but
You dressed her.
yeah, I always dress her. It's just, I don't know. I just thought, she was going to be okay. I thought she was going to be fine. I didn't know that something was wrong. I would have called sooner. I would not have let her sit there like that. I feel horrible. I have to go talk to her dad, and I still haven't seen him. He left the house with her, understandably alive, as he thought, as we all thought. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like she was fine. I don't know.
Is it possible that when you pulled her out of the tub, that she had already passed away? Was she dead when you pulled her out of that water?
I don't know.
Did she?
I just wanted her to be okay.
Did you put a blanket over her?
Whoa.
I dried her off, and I put her clothes on her, and I laid her down because I thought she was just tired. To go to jail.
Did something happen before the bath where you might have been upset with her? Anything like that?
No.
Did you tell Richard about what happened in the bathtub?
I didn't talk to him until I thought she was fine.
How long was she in the bathtub alone?
I always leave her in the tub alone.
How long do you think?
Like 30 minutes. Not even that long. I can't calculate time. I cannot. Time is just not my friend.
So she was on her stomach, but her head was to the side.
Yeah.
Was she floating on top?
Because you're
of the water?
lying. Time is not your friend because you're lying.
I don't know.
Would you be able to show us
Show you what?
how she was in the water?
I don't want to.
Did you try to do CPR when you got her out of the tub? You did. Okay. Did water come out when you did CPR?
And then I called her dad, and then I called my mom.
Called her dad
I
and
meant
then
after you pulled it.
911.
So was the bath this morning, not last night? Because you said she took a bath last night and she was floating in the water last night. So when you pulled her out of the tub last night, before you dressed her, put her on the couch, did you do CPR then? Did you try and revive her?
No,
No.
I didn't.
You just got her dressed and put her on the couch?
I could have saved her. I really thought she was fine. She's kind of dramatic sometimes. So I thought she was just playing along or something. I didn't know. That's why I tell her all the time, stop being so dramatic, because when somebody really needs to know what's going on, they're not going to know.
There was no way for her
What?
to tell you what was going on, because she had already passed away. She couldn't tell you.
No, maybe not. Maybe she didn't. Like I said, my time is off. My time is off. For
You're off,
the time
girl.
it was. I don't know what time it was. All I know was just dark outside.
Weren't you concerned that when you had to pull her from the tub? I mean, she must have been just limp. She must have been just lifeless.
Like I said, my time is on. I wasn't made for that long.
How come you didn't call for help?
I did.
Last night, after the tub, you didn't.
She got.
I know
a bath
you did this morning. How come you waited so long?
She got a bath this morning.
Oh, so she got a bath at night and in the morning?
After he had already left? Okay.
So what can I tell him?
Okay. That makes sense. That's better.
No,
What happened during the bath?
I don't know. She, like I said, she was just laying down, chilling. And then all of a sudden I come back and it's just like everything is just wrong. So when I got her out, I laid her down for a second because I don't know. I just thought she was kidding. I really thought she was kidding with me. I really did, because she's just that type of kid. Like she played and she do goofy stuff like that. So I really thought she was kidding with me for a second. And that's where I messed up at, thinking that it was a joke, thinking that she was just playing. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't mean for that to happen. And I don't want to go to jail.
So now that the day's a little more clear, the timeline is better, because the bath was this morning, not last night, because he told us she didn't get bath last night, so we already knew that. Well, what time did you put her in the tub this morning? Was it after he left?
This was a little bit after he left.
Okay.
Because I ended up getting up to lock the door. She was already up. So I was like, let me go and get ready, because we were supposed to be packing to move today. And I just wanted to get certain things out the way, like that she'll be dressed and ready for the day. And it just went sour.
When you say it went sour, what do you mean?
She's not here anymore. That's what I mean. She's not here anymore. She's not. That's my fault. So what's going to happen to me now?
I don't know. We got to talk about it more.
But you know what? It's a lot more helpful now that we know the truth.
Because it makes sense.
It does. We were thinking a lot worse stuff. I mean, we weren't thinking you were a monster. We were thinking you had an accident or something happened.
It was an accident.
Absolutely. Sounds like it to me.
Did you put her in the bathtub this morning?
They know.
And run the water for her?
That ain't no accident.
But she was already laying down when I was running the water. Like, before you even get the water in there, she was already laying down. Like
laying on her stomach, on her back?
No, she was laying on her back, just chilling, waiting on the tub to fill up. That's what I said.
But she was awake.
She was wide awake. Then just out of nowhere, she's on her stomach and her head's on her side. And I'm like, what the fuck?
So that's when you took her out of the tub?
Yeah.
And was she breathing?
I didn't know. I thought she was still playing. I thought she was still playing and she was tricking me. I really did.
I can't believe it.
I thought she was tricking me this whole time. I thought she was breathing. I did. I really did.
So did you take her out of the tub? Did you drain the water?
Yes.
And then once you took her out of the tub, what did you do?
I thought she was just playing. I got her dressed and I laid her back down because I thought she was just tired. That might sound crazy, but I haven't ever lived through nothing like that before. And with the type of kid we have, I'm just thinking it's all funny games.
The type.
I'm like, okay, Janiyah, it's not funny no more. You need to go and get up. And she's still not saying nothing to me. So I'm like going in her mouth trying to see if she needs oxygen or something. Like I was just playing at that point. I wasn't even taking it seriously. So I'm just like, okay, if you don't need me doing this, then let me know. And she's still not saying nothing. So I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And that's when I was like, okay, no. I had to call her dad, like, Janiyah's not breathing. And then that's when he was like, okay, hurry up and call the hospital.
So when you had taken her out of the tub and you thought she was playing, because she was unresponsive.
Yeah.
She was limp, I'm guessing. And then did you start to give her breaths, you're saying? Yes? Okay, because you're nodding yes.
So she lies when she's on the 911 call giving her mouth to mouth, but she clearly was doing it earlier that morning and the night before.
And then you thought she was playing.
Yes, I still thought she was playing.
How's that making sense?
How much time went by until you called Richard from the time you said you were breathing in her mouth?
After I thought she was playing, because I couldn't breathe. When I was trying to blow the air in her mouth, I couldn't really blow it in. It was almost like she was closing her mouth. So it was almost like I couldn't even blow the air in her mouth. So I'm just like, okay, you playing. I'm going to just leave you alone. I covered her back up. But when I came back, she had that look on her face. And I'm just like, something's wrong. You're not changing. You're not blinking. You're not responding to me at all. Like at some point in time, Mommy, I'm just kidding. Something would change. And it's just like at no point in time, I went in the room and everything. Nothing changed. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, no, something's wrong. I waited too long.
How much time you think went by?
I don't know.
And
I
that's
don't
when you
know.
called Richard? And then he told you to call for help?
I didn't even stay on the phone with him for a minute.
Okay. And then you called us?
Yes.
Okay. And then did you do CPR again with the operator?
Yes.
Okay.
You should have just said that for me at the beginning.
Is there anything else we need to know about? Did she slip? Did she hit her head?
That's what I was thinking. Like, I've been trying to figure that out this whole time. Because she had possibly slipped and hit her head in the tub. Like, how could I miss that?
You said she was laying down when you put her in.
Exactly.
Hey,
So that
Lisa.
idea went out the window. What happened?
Operator, this is Detective Conover. Same person as present. We're going to stop for now. Time is 14:07.
As you can see,
So, right, right. We don't believe her. We don't believe her. Not at all. Not at all. That makes no sense, right? They beat her. She was in the shower. She was drinking the water, snorting the water. That killed her. Why did she have wounds to her genital area? Why did she have 2 black eyes? Why did she have lacerations from her head down to her kneecaps, her liver? Like,
within the short space of time between Shavon's first and second interviews, the timeline she initially gave police has been completely disrupted. And I think the important question there is why. We could spend a lot of time playing spot the difference and create a whole new timeline based on her second interview. But I think the main point of contrast is the fact that Shavon now is claiming Janiyah's bath happened on the early morning of September 11th, not the night before, sometime just before 911 was called. And this certainly changes the dynamic. She further claims that Janiyah wasn't responsive and acting normal after the bath, stating that she thought Janiyah was just playing around or being dramatic. Janiyah's body was in fact loose or limp when she was carried out of the tub. She was also laid over the tub, something Shavon didn't mention in her first interview. In fact, Shavon's first interview paints the picture that Janiyah was responsive, active, and totally coherent, at least in the bath and shortly after getting out of it. But the child's condition must have been bad enough to cause some concern because Shavon proceeded to blow breaths into Janiyah's mouth before she called 911. Yet after this and dressing her, Shavon left Janiyah on the couch and went back to bed. When she finally checks on the child again, 911 is called. This is where Shavon adds that water was coming out of Janiyah's mouth as she performed CPR on the girl, while under the instruction of the emergency dispatcher. Now tell me, at what point in this new timeline would you have called for help? And if someone going through this experience didn't call for help, what might be their reasons? There's so much conflicting information in Shavon's first 2 interviews. There's so much obvious deception. But that big question still lies in that one single word. Why? Why lie? Well, there's still so much more to talk about. A short...
I know. Are you guys shook? Are you shook? Are you shook? So now they're going to take her to reenact the scene. Can you believe it? The officers are going to take her so that they could see what she meant by she was lying in the water bathtub.
Call. They, much like you and I, are having trouble following her summary of events.
This is Detective Conover, P number 8388. This will be one video reenactment. Today's date, or the event number, I'm sorry,
You
is
guys are going to be
1909 000-50332. Today's date is September 11th, 2019. The time is 17:26
Watch
hours.
the lies right before your eyes,
present
baby.
is Detective Hernandez, P number
7567.
And also we have Shavon Miller, and that's SHEVHUAN. Miller is common spelling. And our Shavon's date of birth is 7/4/96. The location where we are is 4855 Boulder Highway, Building N like Nora, apartment 1161, Las Vegas, Nevada 89121. We are here related to a child death. And Shavon, if you could, now you know this is all voluntary. You don't have to participate. Do you agree to go ahead and move forward with us to help us understand what happened today?
Like, yeah. I'm a liar. I know exactly what happened.
Can you verbally say, okay, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hand you the doll. What I like to do is I'd like you to take the doll into the bathroom and show me when you gave Janiyah the bath this morning. Can you show me how she was in the tub when you started the tub water?
This is wild.
So
Shout out to One Crime.
So she was laying on her back
Yes.
with her head towards the top of the tub, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you turn the water on for her?
Yeah, I already had this in the tub.
Okay, so you put the plug in.
Inside. You leave over here.
Okay.
I took over. The water was running. I left in the room, started smoking a cigarette, came back, and she was like, this.
Okay, so she was face down in the tub at this time with her head turned to her right side.
Yes.
Okay. How full was the bathtub?
Well, you see this?
That ring right there?
Yeah.
So it was a full tub.
Yeah.
Was the water still running?
I think I might have turned it off already. I don't recall that part.
Okay. Do you remember if you turned it off when you came in and saw her like that, or you turned it off prior to it being like
I
that?
don't remember that part exactly. I don't
Okay.
remember if I already had it off.
Me too, man.
I don't remember that part exactly.
Okay. And then when you saw her like that, what did you do?
I immediately brushed her up.
Okay.
I was like, I sent her right here.
What?
You sent her out. Did you have to hold her?
No. That's why I thought she was just playing. So when I got her out and she was just, kind of looser than normal, I'm just like, still not really thinking nothing of it because, like I said, I didn't have the board up here. So I'm thinking, she's just kidding or something maybe. And
would you describe her as being limp?
like I said, she was looser than normal, yes. But
looser
like
than normal?
I didn't have to hold her up here. I didn't really think too much of it right then and there. And like I said, I really didn't think much of it at all until I came back to check on her and she was just not responding.
Did you say anything to her when she was in the tub or when you got her out? Did you talk to her?
I think that's what I was telling you. I was like, Janiyah, quit playing. And then
Did she respond?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say yeah, and I'm not gonna say no.
Wow.
Because it's like I kind of feel like I'm just throwing that at her too. Like I don't.
For her eyes open or closed?
Her eyes were open.
Now, when we talked to you at the hospital, you said that you gave her some breaths. You actually breathed into her mouth.
Yeah, and I thought she was just playing. That's when I had actually got her dressed and stuff. He put her on the couch, and I thought she was just playing. So I had her on the couch, and I'm like,
where was that at? Can you show us?
What?
So she's already dressed and stuff like that, and she's here on the couch.
Wait, you got
the way she was
Yeah.
that way?
Yeah.
Oh,
not this way.
No,
Crazy.
she don't live.
hold on. You got her out and got her dressed.
Yeah.
Can you go through the process?
She got her out, her little limp body, and got her dressed and just placed her on the couch.
Okay, so you got her out of the tub.
Yeah. Got her out the tub.
Mhm.
I normally carry her out. Came later right here. Put her clothes on her.
Okay.
So at this point, like I said, I'm still thinking she's just joking around and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you need to stop playing. So I put her up here. Then I walk off because, like I said, I'm thinking like, maybe I think too much of it. Come back. And I'm like, and I come back and check on her. I don't recall exactly at the point of when, I kind of still jokingly was, over her like, oh, you want me to blow some butts on you? And I'm like doing that. And I felt like she was blocking me from doing it because maybe it was like the position that she was in or something. But I felt like she was blocking me. So I'm like, oh, you don't need no breaths. Like you're playing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking she's still playing.
She's playing dead
But when I
for
realized she still
8
had that
hours.
same look on her face, I'm just like, okay, something's wrong.
How many breaths do you think you gave her?
At that point in time, like I said, I wasn't
Right,
really being
Oscar.
too serious. So it's probably like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Nothing severe as it should have been.
Did she react? Did she say anything to you?
Severe.
No. She just, it kind of seemed like she was just spitting out something. Like she was just.
When did you dress her in?
The clothes that she had on, the leggings with the, I don't remember exactly what was on the show, but I remember it was a t-shirt.
The t-shirt, pajama bottoms?
It weren't pajama bottoms, but they were legging pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
And underpants?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I keep forgetting because that's automatic.
Okay.
But yeah, at that point when I had her up here, and I realized she wasn't responding, then I called the ambulance. And they told me to move her to the floor and her. And then that's where they told me to properly position her and then perform CPR as I gave her the breaths, and then they come in with me
Right,
through the process.
Did any fluid come out of her mouth when you were giving her CPR?
Yes, that's what I was telling you before, but that was 2 different instances. Actually, that's in the one. This in detail because like I said, I was out here kind of playing about the bus, And then, like I said, actually before, when I'm like, on the phone with you guys, like when I'm trying to call her dad, like, okay, something's wrong. That point, that's when I tried CPR myself, and that's when the fluids was coming out her mouth.
So you did chest compressions?
Yes, that was before I was instructed to do it.
So not just the breaths you gave her,
yeah,
you also did chest compressions.
Yes, I did. But like I said, once I realized, it was serious, I actually, cuffed her nose, blew in her mouth. I mean, I probably wasn't doing it right, but
she knew she was dead.
So at that point, I'm really concerned. And when I walked off and came back, she was like spitting out or something. I'm not really sure what was going on, if it was her or if it was just the reaction, but it was something was like mucus was coming out.
Then she was on the couch.
And she was on the couch, yeah. And when I walked off and I came back, her head was actually like this, like to the side. But she was like straight up and down at first. And then when I walked off and came back, she was like to the side, so it was like falling out the side. And I'm like, okay, no. And that's when I called CPR. They told me to get her on the floor and to do it that way.
How was her body to the touch?
Her body was warm. Her hands were cold.
And was
her hands are normally cold.
Tub water warm?
Yes, the tub water was warm. Her hands and feet are normally cold when she get out of stuff. So at first, that's what I'm saying. A lot of signs of it really made me feel like it was just her playing alone, just her normally, because if she get off the tub, she's wet. Her hands and feet are cold. She don't have socks on. Her hands and feet get cold. Like I said, her body was warm to the touch, but her hands were cold. And
was she breathing when she got out of the tub?
That I didn't really check for because I was not really sure at the moment that anything was wrong.
How was her head? Did her head bobble like she was asleep? Or
when I picked her up out the tub, that's what I'm saying. I really am paying attention. Like I said, normally I get her out, come in here, get dressed, whatever kids may be. And then I placed her on the floor. So I didn't really.
You had to dress her, right? She didn't dress herself.
Yeah, no, she didn't dress herself. I normally help her to dress her, but at that time it was me dressing her.
Because she couldn't dress herself at that time, could she?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Because she was dead.
Because she's unconscious.
I'm assuming so. And then what else were you asking?
So we have the positioning. We know it closed. We know that you called 911.
You said you walked off. What do you mean you walked off? You said you did some breaths and you walked off. Did you walk to the bathroom? Or did you walk to the
No, I walked in the room.
Okay.
You told me when I was like, I thought she was just coming. No, I had walked in the room real quick because I had a cigarette.
Just over there.
Yeah, just right here.
Okay.
And I would, I puffed it and I came right.
You didn't step outside or
no? Okay. I just wanted to make sure she was still okay because she just.
Oh my God, the lies.
Offish, like she seemed like she was playing because she looked like she was just staring at me. Mm-hmm. But in a sense, she just seemed off.
Okay. Now we know that you called for help a little after 8:00 in the morning.
No, it was 7.
Okay.
Who'd you call first?
I called her,
Richard,
and I called you right after. But it was at 7:45.
Because they record all the calls, and I have a log of the call.
If you have the phone, you can go through the call list, and they'll show the 911 time.
Okay. And then we showed up at the hospital.
But once I realized, okay, this is, I was upset that I even waited that long. And as you can see, that probably simply caused the situation to progress the way it did. Because she could have probably been saved if I would have noticed that from the beginning something was wrong. But I'm really thinking she was just playing.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So come in here and I want to show you something.
Plain.
So I remember I told you a lot of our investigation is scientific. Mm-hmm. A lot of the things that we do.
Yeah.
Now, when we saw Janiyah a couple hours later, after y'all had gotten to the hospital, we noticed a lot of bruising on her face, on her abdomen, on her arms, on her legs. She was bruised and cut up, but not a lot of cuts, but a lot of bruises. Mm-hmm. Did you notice any of that? Now, because you had put her in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And you had taken her out of the bathtub and you had dressed her. Mm-hmm. The bruises were very obvious to us. Did you notice that extensive bruising when she was in the tub?
As you can see, the light in the ear is nowhere near as bright as it is anywhere else. But nonetheless, in light you can see. I told you like the face and stuff. Yes, I get to see that. But and then like I said, the one on I don't even know where that came from. I literally just saw that. But the arms and stuff like that, I don't know about anything else other than the face and then that mark right there.
She wasn't bleeding when she came in here. She didn't have any cuts.
So you remember I did tell you that she her mouth was red, like she was bleeding, and then she was like spitting out blood from the other day when because I give her a bath all the time.
Was she spitting out the blood from the prior day?
Huh?
Or was that this morning?
No, that was the part.
From yes, okay. So one of the things we do is, and like I said, it's scientific, and we test for blood.
Yeah, I know.
And what I can tell you, come on over here. You see the blue here by the tub edge, and you see the blue inside the tub. That's blood residue. That's blood.
Blood residue.
Oh,
So what that tells us,
she's already
she was in the bathtub.
Thought it was
and
coffee.
On the bed here, and on the tub here, where you said that you leaned her over. There's blood on the floor.
No.
And there's blood in. Well, it's science.
It will be blood right here too if they drugged her. That's what I would say first off. It did not, none of that. And you can come and retest all this if you need to. But it will be dripping off the tub if she would have been hanging over the lid. That did not happen that way.
Well, if she was over far enough, it would have either got on the towel that was lying on the floor.
It was.
Oh, there was blood on the towel?
It was mixed in with water, and I cleaned up the mess from, and it was just sitting there.
So how does
you tampered with evidence?
Because it's all probably
right.
laid out.
From
the last time she had the bathroom when the incident first happened, from when she came in,
So you're saying that this blood that is in the tub here was from a day before?
Yes, because I ran this water more than one time. So it's like the fact that that's still in there, that's really surprising. That means I don't do a good job. I didn't clean it out, to be honest. Okay. But you can see it's a ring around the tub.
Yes.
I wonder the brutality that Janiyah lived right before she being beaten to death. Thanks, us Dubs, for becoming a member. Welcome to Melivers. Thank you for supporting. Yeah, I had to clean up the blood twice, the night before and in the morning, whatever she's lying about.
Yeah, so it's pretty dirty. I'm not
so
saying
you're saying that blood is
from
the altercation from the day before.
Yes, because I'm telling you, if she was over here drinking blood, first of all, she wouldn't have been sitting here like that. And this one,
because that looks like a lot of blood.
It do, but it wasn't. It was mixed with water. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah, that wasn't. That looks like a lot of blood to me as well, and that's a lot of bleeding. All of that. That's a lot.
And have you cut yourself in the tub? Any bleeding from you in the tub?
I bled. I cut my hands.
Okay.
Yeah, I bled plenty of times.
So when you bathed,
you cut your hands and you bleed and you get in the shower
after the altercation, Janiyah, I'm sorry. She had blood in her mouth. Okay, and she washed out in the tub or in the sink?
Oh, no, she washed out in the tub. I had immediate prayer.
Okay, because we have blood on the sink as well.
Well, I told you I cleaned her off with some tissue as well. So I don't know exactly.
Is this the tissue here that you cleaned her with?
Probably not, because it would be red new. But yeah, I don't.
They're like
this. I don't. Did you guys already get it up?
Yeah, we already did.
Yeah.
So, and this is for the ID guys are gonna process it. So and we took your swab, right? They took your swab already. So we're gonna know your DNA, your blood, their blood, your boyfriend's blood. Is that pretty much gonna be her blood, or is that some of your blood, or?
It could be a mixture of any.
Okay.
But that towel has been sitting there, so it's like that could have been old already. You know what I'm saying?
Like old blood.
That's what I said. That tub wasn't cleaned out right.
Okay.
Because the fact that
old blood on a towel. What are you guys doing all up in that apartment and in that bathtub? Tipsy says, I mean, if the neighbor child made your child bleed like that, why not take her to the hospital? Facts. What part of her thought blood was normal? How did you miss all the trauma in the tub? Right. A straight razor shit, and I don't cut my hands. Right, Pantera.
it looks like that, it didn't look like that when I put her in it.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I would have seen the bloody tub with her in it. It didn't look like that, and I think it would have been probably, I don't know.
I'm so disgusted.
Really, I mean, you guys are doing what you have to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna analyze all that stuff, and
yeah, of course.
That's science stuff. Again, we got the doctor tomorrow, so we'll come talk to you guys afterwards.
Please.
All right, this concludes the interview. Same person present. The time is 17:41.
Shavon Miller is allowed to leave that day, and she returns to the apartment with Richard. No arrests were made on the day Janiyah died, but the following day, September 12th, she'll do one final interview on video in formal interrogation style. We'll come back to that in a moment. But Janiyah's father, Richard Davis, was also interviewed about Janiyah's death. There's no available audio or video from his interview, but I have the transcripts, which Las Vegas Metro Police charged me $600 for, and some of the information divulged in them is hair-raising, especially when combined with some of the other information I've gathered. If you recall, Some of the observed damage to Janiyah's body was found on her bottom, specifically in the form of bruises, and these contusions were fresh. Because Shavon mentioned that Richard hits Janiyah with a belt sometimes as a form of discipline, when the detective spoke to him, they decided to go further into detail with Richard about his parenting methods, and this is where some seriously alarming information was leaked. When questioned, Richard claims the last time he used a belt on his daughter was roughly Sunday, the 8th of September. He stated that the reason was because Janiyah had a tendency to remove the diaper or clothing off the two little kids that he and Shavon babysit and do something he described as really strange or really bad. The transcripts are censored, so the exact details are unknown. But these two little girls were not the same two little girls that he was watching for his ex-coworker, Liz. In fact, these children were the ones that Shavon described in her interviews as her nieces. Richard referred to them in the same manner before clarifying that they weren't actually related to him or Shavon, but rather belonged to a long-term friend of Shavon's who lived with them for a little while up until that week.
These two monsters were babysitting all the neighborhood kids and their friends' kids. Can you imagine? Are you guys disgusted? Oh my God. Right. Look at her beautiful face. Ugh.
This is the woman Shavon referred to as her sister, and her name is Dejanay Williams, or Dejanay Johnson as she's later named in court documents. According to Richard, it was Dejanay that caught Janiyah doing the really bad aforementioned stuff to her children, and she informed him about it. He claims he had to discipline Janiyah for that because it wasn't stuff she should be doing. One detective asks him, "So she took off a baby's diaper and was blank?" Again, I can only speculate about the censored information based on further context. Regardless, Richard answered yes, and then was asked, "Does she blank her own blank?" To which Richard claims he doesn't know and states that he's very hands-off when it comes to girls. He doesn't even like it if he has to go to the bathroom with Janiyah and prefers that Shavon handle all that. It's weird and it makes him uncomfortable. At one point, Richard is asked, "Are you implying that at 5 she blank?" Again, censored information, so we'll have to guess what's being said based on further context. Richard answers saying that couldn't be possible at Janiyah's age. He's also asked if Janiyah ever mentioned being sexually assaulted to him. He said no, but she always seemed like she wanted to tell him something. Janiyah also had trouble sleeping at night and would frequently wake up in what Richard described as a real deep sweat, not like a normal sweat. He did mention, however, that he knew she went through some stuff with her biological mother when she was younger, but that stuff was never elaborated on. As far as I know, and from what I can gather, there aren't any allegations of sexual misconduct at the hands of Janiyah's birth mom. Regardless, Janiyah was beaten by Richard with a belt for what she did to Dejanay's youngest child. By his own admission, she was struck 20 times on her bare bottom. When asked if he was upset, Richard said extremely, because what Janiyah had done, in his words, was very, very bad. He even recalled seeing visible damage begin to form on her bottom while in the process of beating her. So much so that it caused him to stop and realize it was a little too much before making her go and stand in the corner for 30 minutes.
I know.
He was also asked if he may have missed her buttocks with the belt and hit her legs, and he said possibly. Now, cops described bruising to one of her legs as so severe that it went down to the bone. It literally affected all of her leg tissue. If the bruising on her leg was caused by this spanking before she was made stand in a corner for 30 minutes, I can only imagine how much pain and fear this little girl was going through. And Richard claims he didn't use a belt on her often, but the belt that he used had no clasp or buckle. This was clearly a belt that was kept for one purpose, and that purpose was attacking someone. It was used to harm someone who seemed to be already dealing with the most horrible trauma imaginable. Trauma a 5-year-old girl should never have to face. If you ask me, this child needed help long before she was murdered. And in my opinion, she was crying out for that help. Cries that it seems to me were met with a belt. So regardless of who you think killed Janiyah by the end of this, I want you to remember what her father definitely did. Remember what he did instead of actually going and getting her help. He should have got her professional help, but instead, he tried to beat it out of her. That's a fact. How else can you describe the details that you just heard? But it might be important at this point to clarify just how Janiyah ended up in the custody of Richard Davis. About a year prior to Janiyah's death, Janiyah's mother called social services on herself in Arapahoe County, Colorado, and basically admitted to being unfit to or unwilling to raise Janiyah. The child ended up in foster care at this time for a short while before Richard was contacted and informed. My understanding is that Richard flew out to Arapahoe County and visited Janiyah there while in the custody of the system. But this is where things get dark. According to sources close to the family, Janiyah claimed that her father had been touching her inappropriately during this visit. She told this to multiple people in Colorado, but nothing was done about the allegations. Social services were apparently set to step in again, but instead Richard offered to take Janiyah back to Las Vegas and assume full custody of her. Janiyah's mother agreed to the decision, and that's how the child ended up with her father. And if you think about it, this actually lines up with what Janiyah said while sitting on her grandmother's lap in the clip I showed earlier. At the time, Tirza was under the impression that Janiyah was saying, if my daddy's mean to me or if he touches me. But based on what we know now about the allegations in Colorado, I believe she was trying to say something else. Let's watch that clip again with this new context.
I love him.
You gonna have fun with your daddy?
Yeah.
That's good. You can call Grammy anytime, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna give your daddy my phone number. Because I love you.
I'm gonna talk to my mommy, and then I'm talking to my mommy when he's being mean to me.
Okay. That ought to be interesting.
That's why mommy tell me I can don't my dad touch me, and then he's still touching me.
Well, hopefully
at the house.
We won't be doing all of that, okay?
Okay.
And you just have a great time with your daddy, okay?
Okay.
You guys hear that? Yeah, why is he free? Exactly why we're talking about this. We're hoping that the media gets enough attention and Shavon ends up coming clean. But again, if she mentioned in Colorado that her father was touching her, why did they give him full custody? Who failed there? The system, right? Everybody failed her. Like we see in a lot of these cases that we cover, unfortunately, with children. Are you horrified? I'm horrified. Poor sweet baby. I know. He is free, and there's no update on the status for him. But I say arrest Richard Davis. Absolutely. So the next part of the documentary is the actual interrogation. So we're going to listen to her now. She did the first few interviews, and then she did the reenactment. And now we're going to listen to the interrogation. And thank you guys for hanging out and be willing to listen to Janiyah's story, because when you look it up, there's not a lot on it. Even if you Google it, there's not a lot on it. And it's been pulling teeth to get records, but I'm hoping to get them soon. Arrest him now. He is in jail. She's in jail. She got 20 to 50 years. But he's free. A free man. This is her being interrogated now. Now she's crying. Now she's crying.
Now, you remember yesterday I told you this was going to be kind of a scientific investigation. Mm-hmm. You know, we're detectives, and we've done this for a long time. Mm-hmm. And we know things when we see things. Mm-hmm. We're smart guys. We are. And I told you that the doctor is going to tell us what happened to this little girl. Yeah. He's going to tell us what happened to this little girl. And Detective Fernandez was at the autopsy today. And I'm going to tell you right now, the injuries to that little girl are so severe, you got to explain it to me.
Can you explain to me what her injuries were, please? Because I really don't know much.
I can't explain the injuries. Please. She has bruising both eyes, to the sides of both face. Her mouth is cut open. She has bruising on the tops of her arms, on the back of her arms, both arms. She has bruising on the tops of her legs, on the bottom of her legs. She has bruising to her abdomen. She has bruises that are so deep that it goes to the bone. What? When you and I walk into a door and we get a little bruise up here, we get a little bit of a burst blood vessel up here, and that's what causes a bruise. Her bruising is so deep that the blood goes all the way to her bone.
Wow.
That baby was beat to death. No doubt about it. 100%. It's not a question.
She was alive.
We know that's what happened.
She was alive, but she wasn't touched.
Yeah, I believe you. I want her to probably was alive. But she didn't get to that bathtub on her own, and she didn't make it out of that bathtub. Oh, she walked to the tub?
Yes.
Okay.
She walked to the tub.
What happened on the way to the tub?
Nothing.
No, she doesn't have other.
She was in the tub the whole time.
Minutes. The injury she sustained to her abdomen, minutes.
Minutes?
Minutes.
What do you mean minutes?
She had minutes to live.
Listen to this.
What do you mean?
I don't know how else to explain it. She had an injury that would have killed her within minutes.
I'm confused right now.
There's nothing to confuse. She has an injury that was sustained that would have killed her within minutes.
No.
She didn't live longer than a few minutes.
No.
I'm telling you right now, this is what showing
She
you.
was up in the tub. And I said she got in the tub, she was laying down.
So
when I seen her laying down, I was just like,
Then what happened in the tub?
What can possibly, I don't know. I walked off and came back and seen her like that. And like I said, the only thing that I knew of that I did was laid her over the tub. That's the most that had happened.
What?
What?
Shavon, look at me. Look at me for a second. Hey.
Is this a joke?
This ain't a joke.
A joke?
Are you serious right now?
You're a joke.
That
Shavon.
is not a joke. That is worse than a gunshot wound.
What is that?
Can you tell it's a liver? That is not a joke.
I missed you, Triple P.
Minutes. Shavon, I'm not lying to you. We are not lying. You got to tell me what happened.
I'm not making this up.
I know you're not making it up, but you're not telling us what happened.
I'm literally telling you what I know.
You were the only one in the
Growing up.
I'll be back.
I'm really confused right now.
Come on.
I don't.
So they got the autopsy at this point.
I don't even understand that. Like I said, even when I see the bruise on her, I don't even know where that came from. Or I would have told you, oh yeah, that's where. No, I don't know where that came from.
I do.
They damaged her liver so bad from beating her. Her liver was done. Within minutes, it was not a working organ. That's what ultimately killed her.
What?
I do.
Where did it come from?
It came from you.
No, it didn't.
It did.
It did not. I'm telling you, it didn't.
You don't. It's okay.
No, it's not. I'm not gonna. No, this is not okay.
You did it, and we know.
No, I didn't.
And we know it.
What did I
But
do?
you have to explain to me why.
What did I do? If you know that I did that.
What did she do that was so bad?
What did I do?
Yeah,
if
what
you
did
know I
she
did
do?
that to her? How did I possibly do that?
You beat her to death.
No,
You did.
no, I didn't. No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I did not.
Those injuries that we saw, that type of injury
No.
comes from car crashes, from airplane crashes,
Car crashes.
and for people to fall from extreme heights off of the top of buildings.
No.
This isn't an accident.
That part makes
No,
me
she
cry.
was alive when she got in the tub. This was not intentional. She was very well and alive.
Shavon.
I don't know what could have possibly happened. I did not beat her to death. I did not. I really didn't.
Who did that?
There's only 2 people in that apartment.
The cat?
I
The cat
I
beat
don't
her
know
to death?
How that possibly happened.
Oh,
Ed
God.
Richards one. That's it. And by the look of your neck and by the look of your wrists, that's somebody who feels guilty.
So they find that Shavon has wounds across her neck because they say that she allegedly tried to unalive herself, whether she's trying to set up a defense or whether she did because she knew she was responsible for the death of Janiyah.
That I did not do
Why else
enough.
would you try and hurt yourself?
I didn't do enough. I thought she was playing.
I think you did enough.
I didn't help her when she should have been helped.
That's right, because that's your job to protect her.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you lost your cool, if she did something
What?
to upset you,
Oh my gosh.
but this is the time to explain it. Because all
I cannot explain this.
Because the medical evidence is what it is.
Can I see the rest of the medical evidence, please?
No.
There'll be plenty of time for that.
No,
You
it's
saw
not
the
plenty
picture
of
of
time
her?
for that. No, I need to know. I need to know what else you guys, because this is really mind-blowing to me right now.
Her internal injuries were so beat up that she fled to death.
No.
Yes.
She had no plenty of time to have blood coming out of her.
Inside her belly. Inside her belly.
No. No.
They took so much blood out of her belly. I have never seen that much blood.
This has to be a joke.
It's not. I trust you. Listen, this is far from a joke. But
There's
once you
so
tell
much
the
blood in
truth,
this.
you'll feel
Serious.
better.
Poor
I
baby.
promise you, you'll feel better.
I cannot feel better about something I didn't do.
You did it.
No, I didn't.
Janiyah. Stop.
I'm telling you, I did not.
The time for this.
No.
This is over.
No.
It is.
No.
You told me that Richard was gone. You told me he was gone, that he checked out. He was at the clinic. We know that the injury to her liver was so severe that she died within minutes of the injury. He wasn't in the apartment.
She was alive. She was alive. There was no reason she could have possibly died from an injury like that when she was alive the whole time in the tub until I walked off.
Tell me what happened.
I walked off from her. That was it.
No.
Yes.
The time for sticking to this story is over. You can't fight evidence. We have medical evidence that shows how she died. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. I'm not trying to.
She had water coming out of her.
Blood.
I agree. She did.
Coming out of her.
That's not what killed her. What? She bled to death.
No, she didn't. I'm telling you, no. Janiyah was alive in the tub.
Tell me what happened.
No.
Please.
I didn't do anything.
Please explain to me why this beautiful little girl that just turned 5, she should be running around with pigtails in her hair. She should be swimming and playing with her friends. But unfortunately,
we were just doing all that stuff.
She can't do that anymore.
We were just doing all of that stuff with her. That doesn't add up.
She should be doing it.
I really don't know where that. No, I don't know where that came from. I do not know.
This is the time to tell.
Her demeanor between the interviews before and now, I'm like rolling my eyes.
I'm telling you, I don't know.
You have to tell me the truth.
I'm telling you.
Good point, Pantera. I'm surprised the neighbors didn't hear.
Please don't let this little girl's death go unjustified.
I'm telling you.
Please don't do that
She's
to her.
trash.
I'm telling you.
She doesn't deserve it. She's an innocent.
There is no
little
way.
girl.
I'm telling you, there is no way.
Help me.
That she could have possibly. I told you, the most that I know of that hurt her, she got into a scuffle. I didn't even realize she had that bruise on her stomach until that day.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen. Look at me. Look at me. Hey. Shavon, look at me. The injury to her liver. She bled to death in a matter of minutes. It didn't happen at a scuffle out in the yard. It didn't happen from bonking her head on another kid's head.
There is no reason she could have possibly gotten an injury like that.
I know. There's only one way it happened.
There is no way. I'm telling you, there is no way she could have possibly gotten an injury like that. She was very well and alive and sitting up when I left the bathroom.
I see those injuries all the time.
No.
No, I do.
No.
I see children with lacerated livers.
No.
All the time.
No.
I see children
lacerated liver.
Lacerated.
That's how bad they beat her.
I see children with lacerated large intestines. I see children with lacerated hearts, with broken ribs, with their heads smashed.
No.
I see all that.
That wasn't her.
And it only happens from one thing.
That was not her.
Because someone close to them.
That
someone
wasn't her.
who loves them.
No, I'm telling you.
And I believe
that didn't happen like that.
Girl.
But it did not.
I do believe that you loved her. But I believe something happened that upset you.
No.
And I want to.
No.
And if it was an accident, you need to tell me that it was an accident.
No, it wasn't an accident. I don't know how that happened.
I do. She was beat to death.
You can't say it was by me.
You were the only one there.
Again, was it the cat?
It wasn't me.
Are you going to tell me that some ghost came in and did this? When there are only 2 people in a room and one person ends up dead, that's it.
It killed her aspects.
You already told me this.
What do I say?
I'm really trying to figure out what is really going on right now.
I'm telling you what's going on. Text Connor's telling you what's going on.
This is
We're not
crazy.
lying to you.
I feel like somebody's lying to me.
You could think that, but you know the truth. You know.
The truth
Right,
is she was in the tub, alive.
I'm not down there.
Walked there herself.
I believe that. Something else happened though.
I don't know what.
You do.
No, I don't.
Shit, you do.
I'm
And
telling
it's going to
you.
be the hardest thing for you ever to admit.
Oh no.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm not gonna admit something that I didn't do. That's what I'm not gonna do.
Yeah, you caught that witch when she said it wasn't an accident. No, you're right. It wasn't an accident.
There is no way. There's no way.
Then explain it to me.
Can you explain it to me?
No, I have explained it to you a couple of times.
I'm still in disbelief. I still cannot believe this. This is a joke.
Who killed that child?
A joke.
I thought, no, what?
Who killed that child?
Nobody. Like, nobody should have possibly killed her.
You think that she just woke up dead?
I thought it was the tub.
You thought the tub beat her to death?
The tub?
What? When, let me tell you something. Do you know what a liver is supposed to look like?
No.
I'm going to show you.
They show her the autopsy photos.
This is what a liver is supposed to look like. Smooth, shiny. That's the way our organs
Could that have possibly happened when I did CPR on her? Because I was pushing her whole body.
These lacerations. I told you, we see this in airplane crash victims. We see this in people that have been killed in car accidents.
No.
We see this in people that fall from great heights.
No.
Yes. This is what it should look like. This is what it looks like after somebody has punched or stomped on somebody's abdomen so hard that it ruptures their inside.
No.
Yes.
Nobody does anything like that.
Absolutely. People do it all the time.
No.
People do it all the time.
No.
This isn't a trick. This is real. This is Janiyah's. This is her liver. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. You were the only one with her. That's it. Why didn't you
happened to her in that tub?
Why didn't you protect her?
Where did it happen?
Nowhere. She was fine.
She went fine.
No.
Well,
she wasn't. But you got to help me understand, because you seem like a nice lady.
A nice lady?
I got to know how you were capable of doing that.
whoa, no, I'm not at all.
We see two types of people.
I'm not capable of doing that.
You know, we see good people. We see people who love.
I genuinely thought it was the water. The whole, like, when I gave her.
The water lacerated her liver. Please, you guys, careful with the water. It takes 5 pounds of force to break a bone. Imagine being 5 and taking blows that have more than 20 pounds of force repeatedly on a tiny body in a concentrated area. Yeah.
CPR, it was water coming out of her. I don't understand right now. I don't understand. I thought it was.
I know. Listen, I know you're not a monster, but sometimes people are weak, and sometimes we do things that we regret.
No.
Sometimes we make decisions that we can't take back. We do something. There's an action that we can't take back once we've done it.
That time back to the.
And this is what happened.
Someone's had to
I can't see you get.
There had to be a mix-up.
How'd you get so mad at her? What did she do?
What?
What did she do to make you that mad?
No, that's not gonna work. Cause I didn't do that.
No, you did.
No, I didn't.
There's no doubt about
It's a doubt.
No.
I didn't do that.
You were the only one in the apartment. Richard wasn't there. Her death occurred within 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not saying this. A doctor is saying this. A super smart person.
There's no way.
Who was a lot more
Her
educated
death could have possibly occurred within 2 to 3 minutes. No, she was up. She was up. She was doing fine.
Is this why you
was she doing fine? Being abused and hit with the belt 20 times?
Is this why?
Being touched.
I can't imagine the guilt. I can't imagine how guilty you must feel that baby died while you were taking care of her. Now, from the looks of your wrists and the look of your neck, I'm going to say you either tried to cut yourself, but just weren't able to do it deep enough. Because cutting yourself is tough.
I believe Richard was there.
I'm going to guess that you tried to hang yourself at one point, or at least strangle yourself, so that you lost consciousness.
Her dad is feeling probably the same exact way, if not worse than me.
You don't have a mark.
The only difference.
You don't have a mark on his body. I just talked to him.
I know.
Talking to him the whole time.
I know.
He's in there crying, breaking down. I don't know what to do with him.
I don't think they found.
He's so upset. He's beside himself. Now I talk to you.
Hey, Jordan.
Not a tear in your eye. You
Not a
got cuts
tear.
on your wrists. You got contusions around your neck.
I'm in disbelief.
You can believe it because you tried to hurt yourself. Because you're feeling so bad about what you did that you tried to take your own life.
No, I feel bad because she was laying there and I thought she was fine.
Are you right now thinking in your head, if I just keep denying this?
No, I'm not thinking that at all.
Because there's so much evidence. So much.
That's what I'm thinking. What other evidence? Like,
how much evidence do you need?
I'm really trying to figure out what is really going on.
Have you ever built a puzzle?
Yeah, they beat her and she was bloody, and they tried to put her in the bath, made it seem like she was drowning.
Right? You ever, like, missing a couple pieces? You're like, oh, shoot, I'm missing a couple pieces. But you can still figure out what the picture is, right? That's where we're at. I might be missing a few pieces of the puzzle. I might be missing how it happened, why it happened, where in the apartment. I might be missing some pieces, but I got the picture. I got the picture. The picture's there.
This has to be wrong.
Allegedly the dad wasn't there, but
you were hitting her and you went too far. You had, maybe you didn't realize how hard you were hitting her, or maybe you fell on top of her and didn't realize how hard you did that. That's understandable. But if you woke up that morning going, I'm going to beat the crap out of this little kid, that's a different person.
No.
That's what we need to figure out who we're talking to. Because I don't know who we're talking to right now.
A demon who's lying for another demon.
There's no mountain of denial that's going to be.
So he goes to Popeyes. She's with Janiyah. Then he stays there, and then he ends up leaving, and then she's dead. They put her in the bathtub. Then next morning, she suddenly realized she needs to give her mouth to mouth after her limp body's on the couch. Where's Richard? Where's Richard? And they found sperm inside of her and on the outside of her body, but it was such small DNA particles, they couldn't charge him. They couldn't figure it out. Yeah, maybe because they threw her in the shower, in the bath. They cleaned her up.
Get those cuffs off today.
It's not about. I'm really trying to think right now. What could have possibly happened?
Let me know what you think happened.
I really am.
You're the only one that knows. You're the only one that knows. There's only two people that knew.
This is crazy.
Is she the only one who had any involvement? What do you think?
Shavon, why? Tell us what happened. Don't let this little girl's death go without an explanation. She deserves it.
I didn't.
This little girl deserves the truth to be told. You owe it to her to tell her the truth.
I didn't do it.
She called you mommy.
Yeah.
She thought of you as her mother.
Yeah, they found it inside of her and on her body. Was it Shavon's? No.
If I would have known that something like that was wrong with her, she would have been 1,000 feet away from me. It doesn't matter what could have possibly happened. It doesn't matter what could be possibly going on. As long as she's okay, that's the only thing that matters. So if I would have known that something like that severe,
how would you have known?
Exactly. How would I have known?
I don't know. I didn't say you knew that her liver was lacerated. So
if I would have known something like that was going on, she would have been in the hospital.
But something happened.
Way sooner.
Something happened that caused those injuries. What do you mean way sooner? What are you talking about way sooner?
We don't know who it was.
You pulled her out, you dressed her, you put her on the couch, and you didn't call them.
Exactly.
You called her.
That's why I said something would have been done way sooner.
When she was dead.
This detective over here in the striped is ready to go hands on. He is pissed. I don't blame him. I would have trouble sitting through that.
I didn't know.
You didn't know? How do you know?
How do I know?
You know how I know? Because when you're on the 911 tape going, I don't know if she's breathing. I heard it.
Yes, that's what I didn't know if she's breathing or not.
I don't know.
That's not how I want to know at all.
I have the tapes. Are you kidding me?
Oh Oh my God.
We have all of it.
Yes, I know you have the tapes. I'm not confused at all about that, but I'm really confused about this. I really am.
You seem very confused.
I am.
Then why are you saying you're not confused?
I'm not confused that you have the tapes. I'm not confused that you didn't hear what was going on, but the fact that you're trying to say that I was careless on the phone said, I don't know. No, that's not right.
Are you confused about the medical evidence that we have?
Yes, I'm confused about all of this. The fact that you guys are saying it was bruises to her bones?
To the bone.
That's insane. That's insane.
You did it. You're doing 50 years in jail for it.
There's nothing insane about this.
Prison.
I don't even know.
There's nothing insane about this. You want to know what this is? This is her leg. This is the inside of her leg, and that is blood that's not supposed to be there. You want to see her arms? This is blood that's not supposed to be on her arms. Do you understand? That is blood that is not supposed to be there. Her legs are supposed to be almost milky pink. These are bruises. These are legit 100% bruises caused by an adult with a whole lot of force.
This is insane to me.
I already showed you what I need to show you.
He's so mad. That's wild. Yeah, she had bruises so bad it got the blood supply to the bone was completely damaged.
I thought she would have got up at some point in time. Like, Mommy, I'm just kidding. That's how I'm disbelief. I am and was about the situation.
She was fine when she was in the bathtub. Yeah, she did die the night before. I agree with that, Stubbs. I believe she died the night before. And they try to cover it up in the morning or whatever they did.
You know what? You're probably right. She probably was okay when she got in the tub. But it's what happened after.
Exactly, Pantera, yeah.
She wasn't in the tub that long. Nothing happened after.
Wait, she wasn't in the tub that long. You were saying she was in there for hours and you went and did whatever and smoked your cig and now she wasn't in there that long. Oh, okay.
Please look at me.
Yes, Andrew Carter, there are.
The tub didn't kill this baby.
Yes.
So she did that for drowning.
Yes, number 7, I agree.
So why was the water coming out of her?
Because it's natural. I mean, why? She was in the water. So water got inside her.
No. She was breathing. I seen her. That's what I told you guys. She was breathing in the water. That's why I told her to sit up. She sat up. And then I left and came back and she was laying back down. She was not in a situation to be, oh, no.
Yes.
I'm still like, damn, is she gonna come back? Is this just really a fucking game right now? Is there any way possible she's just gonna get up and you guys are gonna tell us to come get her?
I can't. It's really a joke. Why would it be a joke?
She was breathing in that water. I'm telling you, she was alive. Nothing happened to her in the tub. She was breathing in the water. And I'm telling you that for sure. Because I had to tell her to sit up and stop doing that. And she did. She was fine.
So did she get the whooping before you put her in the tub?
What? She didn't get a whooping.
Or was it after?
She didn't get a whooping that morning.
Please.
At all.
Just confess at this.
She didn't get a whooping.
Ridiculous.
We've explained to you what happened.
Why do you think she got a whooping that day?
Well, if you said she was alive when you put her in the tub,
Very well.
the injury could have happened prior to you putting her in the bathtub. And then she expired while she was in the tub.
No.
Yeah, you
I'm
were trying
telling
to
you,
wash her off,
was
you
up.
psychopath.
Well, I'm saying she could have maybe walked to the tub with that type of an injury. I doubt it. You would have probably had to carry her.
No, she walked to the tub.
She's in denial.
See, the thing that unfortunately that we're faced with, that we have to deal with, because this isn't going away. It's not. This is real. This is as serious as it gets. It doesn't get any more serious than this. We have a 5-year-old little girl that loved her daddy and loved her mama. And when I say loved her mama, I'm talking about you. That little girl woke up Wednesday morning. It's like it was another day. And then sometime between the time she woke up and 8 o'clock in the morning, she died. And children just don't die. There were only 2 people inside that apartment. You
and Richard. And Richard, when he got home from the Popeyes, right? Popeyes, we'd like to hear your statement, please.
You're smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. You're intelligent enough to understand what I've explained to you.
I don't.
It might be hard.
She was breathing in water. I don't.
I'm sure that it's hard to deal with.
I don't like how I understand that. I don't want to believe that this.
I know you don't.
This can't be normal.
I know you don't want to believe it. I wouldn't want to believe it either. I wouldn't want to believe that I would be capable of doing something like that to a child.
I didn't.
The dad beat her with a belt, Janiyah, like a day or two. So she lied about that 20 times. The wounds were so bad also on the autopsy.
No.
Being beat with a belt.
I didn't.
And you
20
probably
times.
think that if you continue to deny,
No, I don't think
that
that.
it's going to make a
5
difference.
years old.
But it's not.
Yeah, you guys already have your mindset that it was just me.
You told me it was just you. Richard told
I
me it was
didn't
just you.
do that though.
Both of you told me that he left. He was gone. You both said that. You said that you were alone in the apartment with her.
She was fine though.
She wasn't.
She was.
No.
She was fine.
How
She
sad.
was.
Then why'd you try to hurt yourself?
I didn't do
Why
what
did you
I
try to
needed to
kill
do for
yourself?
her.
Why would you try and kill yourself?
If it wasn't your fault. What?
Because I was there with her.
So?
I thought she was sleeping.
You didn't think she was sleeping.
I genuinely thought she was
You're
sleeping.
smart enough
Yeah,
to know
Tipsy,
when
it's all
somebody's
BS.
sleeping and when they're
No,
dead.
she
You're
played
telling me
right.
that
She's
you
a
don't-
playful kid.
You don't
It's
know
not
the
about
difference when
that.
someone is dead.
No. Apparently,
Yeah, she was found guilty. She's in Florence, Nevada, in the Women's Correctional Unit and facility, and she is 20 to 50 years to life. And she has yet to speak on Richard, but he puts money on her books, or was.
not. I haven't ever.
Why would you
been
do
in
that?
type of
If
situation
your
before,
girlfriend
so
killed
no,
your
I
daughter?
didn't know the difference.
Why?
Like I said, she was still warm. I didn't even realize she was warm.
Shivy, I know you don't think I'm on your side, but I'm the only voice you have right now. This is it. You got me. I'm the only one that's willing to tell your story.
She was alive. She was fine.
So what you want me to believe is that this poor child got the beating that ended her life. She was beat to death. The beating that ended her life. Nobody knows how it happened. It just happened. It happened while she was in the tub and you were out having a cigarette. Because 1 minute she's fine and the next minute she's dead.
She was alive in the tub when she got
Yeah,
hit.
good question. We're
She
gonna
was
find out.
And she could have been.
Trying to
She
get all the
was.
docs.
But either what? So then what happened before. It doesn't change anything. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter if she was in the tub. It doesn't matter if she was in a car. It doesn't matter if she was laying on the couch. It doesn't matter where she was.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because if she wasn't in that tub, she wouldn't have died. If I would have walked off, she would be still here.
No, she wouldn't.
She would. She would.
Shavon.
She would still be here if I didn't walk off from her. If I didn't think that.
She had already bled to death.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She did. No, she didn't. It's not a mystery. We know what killed her.
She didn't.
She did.
She didn't.
I don't, listen, you can say she didn't as much as you want. You can say it till you're blue in the face. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't.
Yeah, she's fine, right?
And if that's what makes you feel better, then you can.
And she died. How could she have possibly been breathing in the water? How could she be possibly doing that if she had died?
We told you it takes 2 to 3 minutes for something like that to happen.
She was in the tub longer than 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. So you probably, if what happened, which I'm assuming for whatever reason you got upset, and you put that whooping on her.
No.
And then you put her in the tub trying to clean her up because she would have been bloody.
Bloody? What?
From her mouth, because she's got injuries in her mouth. She would have had a bloody nose.
What?
So you put her in the tub to clean her off.
No, that's completely made up.
Because we see it all the time.
But I didn't ever agree to or say that that's what happened.
The first time that I've seen
I didn't at no point in time agree to say.
In my opinion, Melly's opinion only, I do believe he had something to do with it. And I am hoping that at some point she's sick of being in prison and she comes out with the truth. I hope that the media, I know it's an older case, but he's still free. So it can be from 2019, but it's happening now. He's out there on the streets. I have an awful thought. She allowed another to have that child to get her next fix. That's a good theory, yes, Stubbs. They did it together, and that's anything. Yeah, that's why he's putting money on her books. Why would you do that? If she killed your child and you were innocent, the father, makes no sense.
I didn't say that happened.
First time that I've seen a baby with a lacerated liver, that baby died because of that. This ain't the first time. I see this all the time.
She was breathing in that water.
But then you whooped her before you put her in the tub.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's what I said.
Did.
No.
She got beat and they try to
now I don't
wash
know
off
if you
all the
used
blood.
your feet or if you used your hands.
All the blood
or how you
residue
did it,
in the
or if you
bath.
struck her with an object that was inside the apartment to cause that type of an injury.
No.
But there is no doubt in anyone's mind that that child died from a beating. And like my partner said.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. 100%. Because you yourself said
she was breathing
she
in the
hadn't
water.
been in any accident. She hadn't been hurt. She didn't have no bruises the night before when you put her to bed. You all said when we put her to bed, she was just fine.
Nobody did never say that. I told you she got into a scuffle outside.
Oh, sure. Okay. Not that kind of scuffle.
She got into a scuffle outside.
Then she would have been dead that day. She'd have been dead that afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you telling me you had a dead baby in your house all day and you never called the police?
She died.
No, she died in the morning. After Richard left.
No.
Yep.
No, she didn't.
Yep.
She died in the morning after Richard left. And I agree. How did no neighbors hear that in an apartment? Thank you.
And yeah, she did.
I know she did.
She drowned.
No, she did. She was beat to death.
You just said that, y'all put her to bed, nothing was ever wrong with it. Like, I didn't. No, I didn't. I told you she had a scuffle, and that's how she got beat up like that. I told you that from the beginning.
Another kid didn't do that to her.
You said she came in with a black eye. She had dinner, had a sandwich. Y'all watched TV. You put her down on the bed. Okay. You said the scuffle was around 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
She's saying it was the kids. Don't forget her injuries were as bad as someone who gets in a fatal car crash or falls from an airplane or building. It's not like,
y'all had dinner and
over the curb.
Put her in bed. You brought her up for a bath the next day and put her in the bathtub. You said she walked to the tub.
So if I possibly did that, she would not have been up in the tub for more than 10 minutes.
Well,
if you guys are saying that was a 2-minute type of situation, no, she was up.
I mean, this is
very alive.
This is just what you're telling me. I mean, I don't know the timeline. I have to go off what you say. I know she was in the tub because her hair was wet. We know she was in the tub because there was blood in the tub. We know she was in the bathroom because there was blood on the floor. No
That was
doubt.
old.
No
That
doubt
was
in my mind
prior.
that you put her in the tub. I agree.
That was prior to that.
100%.
If I go run the water in the tub right now, that blue stuff is gonna fill up the whole tub. And if I let it out and don't wash the tub out, it's gonna fill up again.
But that's not in question.
Mildew from the bathtub is different than blood. Can someone tell this clown, please?
You put her in the tub. You said you put her.
Can't
I
handle
believe
it.
you. I believe you did put her in the tub. I do.
Right,
I do. So are you guys trying to arrest me for murder?
Yeah.
You are going to be charged with murder.
Are you serious?
Yes, very serious.
She's like, what? What?
I did not do that.
Shavon was charged with 1 count of murder and 6 counts of child abuse, including neglect or endangerment resulting in substantial bodily harm. But Richard Davis was allowed to go home and plan a funeral for his daughter. Janiyah's birth mother never attended Janiyah's funeral. Police were also unable to obtain an interview from her. About a year later, lab results for the DNA found underneath Janiyah's fingernails confirmed that that DNA belonged to her father, Richard Davis. Due to the sperm
Did you hear that? The DNA underneath her fingernails belonged to her father.
fraction found inside Janiyah, he was arrested on August 17th of 2020 and charged with 1 count of murder, 6 counts of child abuse, neglect or endangerment resulting in substantial bodily harm, 1 count of SA with a minor under the age of 14, and 1 count of lewdness with a child under the age of 14. At first, the trial was going to proceed with the objective being to try the couple together, but a conflict of interest was determined and the courts decided to try the pair separately, with Shavon Miller's trial being dealt with first. She never testified in her own defense, but there were some key points brought up during her trial that certainly need to be addressed. So let's start with the DNA found on the child. The sample taken under Janiyah's fingernail definitely, beyond the shadow of a doubt, belonged to Richard Davis. There was no question about that. There was, however, contention during the trial as to whether or not the DNA found inside Janiyah actually belonged to Richard or was even a match for Richard. But the prosecution showed a photo and claimed that the swabs used to conduct the test took the samples from a position far enough inside the body that a towel simply wouldn't reach. What we do know is that the tiny fraction that was found inside Janiyah's body was confirmed to have 2 DNA donors. One was likely Janiyah, and the other was definitely a male, but the sample was just too small to determine exactly who the male donor was, so the test results on that could neither confirm or exclude Janiyah's father. Richard's arrest stemmed from the fact that there were no other males present around Janiyah for days leading up to her murder. But then about 8 days before Shavon's trial, Richard's SA charge was mysteriously dropped. There were also major disputes about Janiyah's time of death. While Janiyah definitely died in the apartment, her official death was recorded at the hospital as 8:25 a.m. Her body temperature, taken slightly before that, was 87 degrees Fahrenheit, which is significantly lower than normal. Because of this, her estimated time of death was initially believed to have been roughly 2 hours before first responders arrived. And if that was the case, then yes, Shavon was the only one that could have murdered Janiyah because she was the only one with her at the time. But later, Dr. Cornell estimated that Janiyah may have actually passed 3 to 4 hours before she was pronounced dead, which means she very well could have died as early as 3:30 a.m. And that changes everything. I wonder if the bath and the heater were simply ways to keep the body warm long enough for a monster to get offside. And while we can only speculate, thanks to the trial, we now know that could indeed be a possibility. According to the defense, neither the bat nor the belt found in the apartment, as well as other items and evidence, were ever tested, which is kind of odd, especially considering that neither Shavon nor Richard had any damage to their hands. And what about those boxing glove type things seen on the floor in the evidence photos? They'd certainly be a good way to protect one's hands while attacking someone else, but as it stands, they don't seem to have been tested. Another alarming thing the defense brought up was Exhibit 301, which was a video that showed Richard Davis at the Telcris Plasma Donation Center. The claim was that Richard looked visibly distraught roughly an hour and a half before he should have known anything had happened to his daughter. He was described as slouched in his chair, head down, shaking his head. He was also noted by a Telcris worker to not really have reacted much to the news about his daughter. It's impossible for me to watch these clips and not think there's something off about Richard. His demeanor is certainly alarming, but is that due to the context of this video or the lack of context in understanding Richard's baseline behaviors? There's no doubt in my mind that Richard Davis knew something and had something to do with this. And personally, I find his presence in these clips highly unsettling. There's no denying that Richard, by observation only, could be considered strange in his mannerisms, but strange is not evidence that he murdered Janiyah. Another big thing that was brought up briefly during Shavon's trial was Janiyah Williams, the friend Shavon referred to as her sister, the one with...
And keep in mind, pay attention to what she says, because we have an interview coming up with her that I want you guys to watch.
The kids that Janiyah allegedly touched inappropriately. The prosecution had tried relentlessly to get Janiyah to respond to subpoenas, but they simply couldn't locate her. They had her name down as Janiyah Johnson, spelled like this, so who knows, maybe that had something to do with it. But suddenly on the last day of Shavon's trial, the prosecutor was somehow able to locate Janiyah and talk her into testifying that morning. In the 3 years leading up to the trial, no one had ever interviewed this witness about the murder. According to the prosecution, Janiyah said she had babysat Janiyah in the apartment on the Saturday before her death and hadn't noticed any injuries on the child. But she did state that she found Richard weird and that he made her uncomfortable. But at the time, she needed a place to stay, so, in her words, beggars can't be choosers. Janiyah also allegedly told the prosecution that on multiple occasions, Richard Davis would turn the TV up and discipline Janiyah in the other room. Janiyah described how she could still hear Janiyah screaming over the noise, but she wasn't exactly sure what Richard was doing to her. However, she went on to note that Shavon had recently told her she wanted out of the relationship, and she was tired of watching Richard's child and being responsible for her. The prosecution alleged that Janiyah heard Shavon say she would kill Janiyah. Not only that, but there was evidence submitted before a grand jury in the form of an anonymous Crime Stopper tip that also claimed someone was going to kill Janiyah. There's no proof, but the prosecution seemed to think that person was Janiyah. The prosecution also mentioned several jail phone calls between Shavon and Janiyah until suddenly, Janiyah decided to sever contact with Shavon for good. The jail phone calls were recorded somewhere, but I was unable to obtain them. Due to objections by the defense, Janiyah Williams was not allowed to testify at Shavon's trial. Also submitted into evidence.
So many things wrong with this, right? The justice system failed her here, not only CPS. Yeah, why didn't they test all that evidence? Why didn't they go through the apartment?
Evidence was a text message from Shavon to Richard days earlier stating, "Your daughter is the devil." Shavon Imani Miller was convicted of first-degree murder and child abuse resulting in substantial bodily harm. She was sentenced to serve 20 to 50 years behind bars. She's currently serving time in the Florence McClure Women's Correctional Facility in Las Vegas, Nevada. Richard Davis was eventually released on bail, and I haven't been able to find a single update on his case.
Released on bail, no update on the case, and he's out a free man.
Second job or whatever I had.
This is the grandma, and we're gonna watch.
Now all of a sudden, you want to take care of her and this, that, and blah, 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 which I didn't understand. It's like, you've been gone and away for 4 years now. My daughter's been pretty much doing this on her own with intermittent help from me, as I understood where she was at. And now you want to show up? What's that about? Like, what do you have to gain from this? Well, then we found out that he had a girlfriend, Shavon. I didn't know her, had never met her, didn't know anything about her. But my daughter did tell me that Shavon had had a miscarriage. And then I found out from, in the strangest way, Shavon's mom, after the trial, that Richard had beat her and she lost baby. So Shavon's mom told me that. And they let my grandbaby go from Colorado to Las Vegas illegally. The state of Colorado wasn't even supposed to let her come back here because they were the custodians at the time. So she wasn't even supposed to come. No paperwork was done. No, nothing was done. They dropped the ball. They totally dropped the ball. They did not do what they were supposed to do. Now she's in the grave. He could have just sent her back to Colorado. I would have went and picked her up. I would have picked her up. You wouldn't have had to twist my arm. You wouldn't even have to convince me. None of that. I need to come get you. I'll be there tomorrow. And would have left immediately. So her death was unnecessary, except for revealing who Shavon and Richard really are. The next time I had heard anything about Janiyah, her welfare, her well-being, was the day I got the phone call from social services. 15 days after her birthday, she was killed. She was beaten to death. She didn't even get to be 5 years old or start school. Her funeral was on September the 24th of that same year. And I would have liked to have participated, but it seems that Richard and his family took control over the whole thing. They didn't want us to come to the wake. Like, none of that. It's like, what is
Richard,
wrong with
where
y'all?
are you at, Richard? I'm looking for you.
I didn't have any information. Like, I hounded him on Facebook. I need to know when the funeral is because I'm coming. If you think for 1 minute that you're going to bury my granddaughter and I'm not going to be there, you got life and the other stuff completely mixed up. So he finally gave me the date and the time. And so I wanted my daughter to be there. She was going to come and then she didn't. She was going to come. I had $400 to my name. And I said, I will buy you a plane ticket right now. But she said, Mama, if I go, I don't trust myself. So me and my mom and Sarah and her best friend went to the funeral. And some people are like, well, why didn't her mom come? Why didn't her? You know what? Don't knock it until you've been there. And I wasn't angry with her for not showing up. I was able to speak at the funeral on her behalf. So we get to the funeral. Richard is standing there, you know, oh, tears. And I'm thinking, I gave him a little side hug because I wanted to feel his spirit. And my mom, she wasn't hugging. She was like, no. She didn't ever like him either. So she certainly wasn't going to give him a hug. So I gave him a little side hug, a little pat, whatever. And it was so fake. It felt fake to me. And that may be harsh, but I was there. It felt fake. And so we're sitting there during the service and the whole thing. And then Richard goes up to the casket and he's, I'm looking at him like, bro, this don't feel right to me. This feel like you had something to do with it. And in my opinion, he did have something to do with it. We went to the trial and I knew it was going to be intense. I knew it was going to be graphic. I knew it was going to be a lot of what most people may not be able to handle, but I needed to know what happened to my granddaughter because it wasn't no freaking her heart stopped. Well, yeah, her heart stopped because she was beat to death. That's why her heart stopped, but it wasn't because she had a heart attack or some heart complications. Don't get me twisted,
right?
Because it didn't make any sense. So we get to the trial and we hear all this testimony about the stuff that happened to her, and I am floored. She wasn't just beat. Like when they showed a picture of her liver and then they said it is a lacerated liver, the pathologist said it wasn't just like she got like maybe punched in the stomach. It looked like someone had stomped on her and her liver looked like mush. So all the
heartbreaking
details after that, I mean, it was just more and more and more. The bruising all over her body, from her chest, from her neck, all the way down to her ankles. And I'm thinking, you all are trying Shavon. And she, as far as I'm concerned, foolishly took the rap for it. Where was Richard in all of this? Her daddy. Okay, the one that seeded the egg. Where is he at in all of this? Because something in my maternal mind, as a mother and a grandmother, could not possibly calculate or compute the fact that this one woman did all of this. And I still don't fully believe it wasn't. Oh, yes, she's culpable for sure because she was there and didn't do nothing to stop it. But I don't think it was her. I don't.
I'm kind of with her.
So we get through the trial. We literally watch them take my granddaughter apart a little bit at a time. Like we saw the inside of her ribs where she had hemorrhaged because they were broken. And some, if I remember correctly, had broken and healed and fresh fractures and things like that. And I'm thinking, and then I remember when Richard said to me, my hands are registered weapons with the state of Nevada that never left me. And it came back screaming loud and clear. I was glad that she was found guilty, but it still didn't sit right in my soul and my spirit that it was all her, because it wasn't. There's no way. But see, that's where my faith comes in handy, because I know that the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, he gonna get the final say. I don't care what nobody say. So we have prayed, me and Sarah, that God would deal with Shavon's heart. Don't give her no peace. Don't give her no rest until she speaks the truth out of her mouth.
Yep.
Until the absolute truth comes out, there's going to be no justice. There will be no justice for Janiyah. But the paramedic said that
oh, look at her.
Her hair was not wet. Now, if you know anything about Black people's hair, when it's in braids, Janiyah's hair was braided, and it gets wet, it takes a minute for it to dry. I mean, unless you got like super thin hair, when it's braided and cornrow, it takes a minute for it to dry. So by the time the paramedics arrived, if she had truly been in the bathtub and drowned, her hair would have still been wet. And he said her hair was not wet. So that was like key to the fact that this situation did not happen in no water in the bathtub. Not like that. So we heard a lot. We've seen a lot. The stuff that might give some people nightmares. So yeah, that's what happened to my grandbaby. But in my heart, it's not over. It's not over until the truth comes out, because I need to know what part Richard played in Janiyah's death.
So you heard from Grandma. Yep. What do you guys think? I agree, in my opinion only. I don't believe it was just Shavon or Shavon, however you say her name. I'm going to share, that's the end of the documentary. I'm going to share this post. The grandma that was just talking, she has a daughter named Sarah, and she did this post, and it gives a little background on Janiyah's, like, why she ended up in foster care. So let's just read through this really quick. Hey everyone, it's Sarah Russell, Janiyah's aunt. I'm going to share a little bit of the backstory of how and why Janiyah was sent away to Vegas to begin with, to clear up any confusion. So we found out Janiyah and her sister went into the system a day before my sister came to live with us in Colorado. I have no idea where she was beforehand. She commented on a picture of my mom and I, which allowed us an open door of communication with her. When my mom spoke to her again, she was sleeping in her van while pregnant and told us she didn't have her kids anymore. So my mom told her to come stay with us so she could get back on her feet and get her kids back. We were stable at the time and couldn't understand why she hadn't reached out to us and asked for help before putting them in the foster care. I personally had no communication with her before that, or for at least a year. She wasn't on any social media. Plus, I was still in my teens when this was happening. By the time my sister was messing with the man she was pregnant by, and off and on, who was very controlling and manipulative, she was able to have some sense of freedom when she left him, which prompted her to leave the comment in the first place. But she sadly went back. After a few months, she finally got her girls back, and that's how we finally came in contact with Janiyah after a year and a half. My mom asked Janiyah if anyone had messed with her in foster care, and she would only tell her a girl would beat me up. But my mom had a suspicion it was something more than that. So she told CPS in Colorado that she believed Janiyah was being touched in foster care, and they told us, we'll look into it. No matter how many times she followed up with them, they said the same thing. My sister was very emotional and mentally unstable, so much that we got into a physical altercation as I was protecting my nieces and nephews soon before she made the choice to send them all with their dads. So it wasn't just Janiyah that was sent off. I was conflicted after I found out Janiyah was killed, thinking if I hadn't fought for her, maybe she wouldn't have reached her breaking point. But the other part of me knew I did what I had to do to protect them. Everyone who knew my sister begged and pleaded with her to keep them with us, but she wouldn't listen. My mom even contacted a couple friends asking them if they would take them in. but they were unable to. At this point, my sister just wanted to get away from us as soon as possibly. Any conversation we had turned into arguments, and she shut her ears to anything we had to say. My sister and I never had the best relationship, but we were making amends when she left the man who was controlling. It all went downhill when he came back into the picture. We did everything in our power to delay, report, or change her mind. Unfortunately, she was at a place where if we tried to keep them from her, she would have called 911 and reported us for kidnapping. I am far from perfect, as the Lord is still healing me from this traumatic experience and my behaviors that came from it. But I loved and raised Janiyah like she was my own daughter. Her sister called me mom before she called me nene. And if I had any vision into the future, I would have laid down my own life and traded places with her. So that is why I wanted to cover the Janiyah case, because there's no justice. CPS failed. What happened? Why didn't the evidence, the whole apartment and the custody and who was touching her in foster care, and why is Richard out? Why? What happened to his cases? I'm looking into it. So I'm sure we'll have some more information soon, hopefully. But, my heart breaks for Janiyah. I can't believe it. I'm going to bring up her picture one more time. I appreciate you guys for being here and getting through it. I know it was rough. It's brutal, but this little girl deserves justice, and Richard had something to do with it, in my opinion. And we'll find out. We'll get details of where he's been and what he's doing, hopefully, by me or another person that streams and is looking into this case. R.I.P. little baby angel. So cute. This is so wrong. It is. Like Tipsy said, there's so many things wrong with this case. But thank you for being here and getting through that. I know it's tough, and I hope more people talk about this case. We're all true crime junkies here, and I didn't even know about it. I just came across this by accident a few nights ago, and I've been stuck on it since. So I'm working on trying to get documents and stuff. We'll see how it goes. Thank you. Thank you, Tipsy, and thank you all of you and S-Dubs for being here. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Don't forget about Janiyah. We are going to continue talking to her, her case. And my schedule should be back to normal soon. So I appreciate you guys for hanging in there. And we have another True Crime Live planned for tomorrow. Make sure you hit the like button. Remember, don't forget Janiyah. Go in and see what you can find too. There's not a lot on it. So I'm kind of glad that I decided I wanted to cover it and get through it. I was a little hesitant just because children cases are tough, right? And we're advocates for children and victims of SA, and it's just terrible. It's terrible what happened to her. She should be 10 years old right now. So sad. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you hit the like button. Please comment down below. We will continue to talk about this, and I will see you guys on the next live. I appreciate you guys. See you soon.